as acts of terrorism, even though their cause may be righteous. And on the other hand, a uniform
I mean, my
regimental
brother just give me
force.
an elementary school definition of fucking terrorism, bro. I mean, you know what
No, no, no,
I'm
no.
saying?
I'm coming. I'm coming. And on the other hand, you see a regimental force which is accepted as a fighting force, which is seen as legitimate. They also commit acts of violence which fall under terrorism when they use indiscriminate force
Got it,
against
got it, got it,
civilians.
got it, got it. Okay, 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 okay.
Yes,
So
IDF.
here's a question.
IDF.
Here's a question. So who in this war, in your opinion, is exacerbating acts of terrorism?
Primary force, that is IDF, because they are having sustained campaign for the last 75
Got it.
years. At times, Hamas and other militants, not just Hamas, but other militants from Palestinian side, they have also violated the norms of their respective
Got it, got it,
regimes.
got it, got it, got it. We got it, we got it. 100%. My brother. All right, cool. Round of applause, Afzal. Cool, cool, cool. Appreciate you. All right. So let me see. So we got the other Sammy. The other Sammy. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, what's up,
You
Nelson?
excited to be in the show today, my brother?
Yeah, I'm good. I hear you're hiring, I guess. You can pay better than
Man, I
Jan?
never hire your ass. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah, you would.
You just might blow up my building. Sammy, I'm fucking with you. So, Sammy, my brother, please give me, and again, in your words, what is the definition of terrorism? Talk about it.
I think Omar had a pretty good definition of terrorism. He said that terrorism is when a political actor uh, uses violence in order to against civilians in order to achieve a political message or goal.
And in this war, in this conflict, who do you believe, or what side do you believe is exacerbating acts of terrorism?
The IDF.
The IDF. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think Hamas are terrorists?
No.
Okay. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You're
Real
welcome.
quick for
Hire me.
oh, you wish. Anyways, so
You
nah,
wish.
bro. If I have you on my team, bro, I would not get any investors. I would not get any loans. I would be fucked. So no, with your terrorist ass. Anyways, so this motherfucker's trying to ruin my business. Shit, I've got freaking Abro in the audience. Shit, he's my goddamn electrician. He just might not work on my buildings no more. Shit. Anyways, so real quick, let me ask the audience. Now, I want to get at least two more people on the stage that share the same beliefs as Sammy when it comes to Hamas and the IDF. I want to get two more people like that on the stage right now. Again, I'm trying to make sure we get this thing as balanced as possible because again, I don't want this to be an echo chamber where we all agree on the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the audience and you share the same beliefs as Sammy, in regards to the fact that Hamas are not terrorists and the IDF is the terrorist, I need you to shoot me a DM right now. Let me know what your name is, and I'm going to bring you on the stage because we do have 20 something people requesting already right now. Right. So shoot me a DM real quick, and then I'll bring you on stage and you can rock out at least for a good bit of this particular show. That being said, let me go to Voice from the East. Voice from the East, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey Nelson, what's up? Thanks for bringing me up.
Let's talk about it.
So I basically agree with the definition of terror given before. I just want to mention one thing:
All right.
is that the IDF is not attacking Gaza in order to achieve a political gain. They are doing it in order to achieve quiet and peace and to eliminate Hamas. I'm not saying that everything they're doing is kosher, but they are not trying to achieve a political gain. What Hamas was doing was trying to achieve a political gain, which is eliminate the Jews. So I just wanted to clarify that, and I wanted to answer your question, what you said about what we think that's going on in social media and why people are going so crazy pro-Palestine. And I just wanted to say my opinion real quick. I just think that this whole social media thing was totally planned by Hamas. The terror attack itself was just the beginning, just a sort of distraction. There are enough proofs around that the social media was well prepared for the backlash that is about to come. And I think this entire Gen Z kids, they just bored and they are never been a part of a real cause, and they just want to be heard and be part of something that makes them feel individual, although they're just following the horde. So I think they're just following the loudest cause in the room. And that's my opinion.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay. Now, without further ado, I want the audience to do this one more time. One more time. I'm gonna pick the number that I see here most frequently, right? I need you guys to decide how long each speaker has to speak for the entire duration of this show. I'm gonna make sure everybody that grabs the mic in this show is limited to whatever time that you guys give me. Everybody in the audience right now, I need you to hit the chat feature, bottom right corner of the screen. Right now, even if you did it before, I need you to do it right now. Hit the chat feature, bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Respond to the tweet of this space with that time limit. Is it 2 minutes? Is it 1.5 minutes? Is it 90 seconds? Is it 3 minutes, 4, 5? Drop it in the chat right now. I'm looking at my mentions right now, and I'm going to see which one comes up the most. So we got a lot of 2 minutes here. 2 minutes so far. 2 minutes so far. Let me see. Boom. Oh, shit. We got 3. Okay. Keep going. Keep it going. I need to know. Keep it going. Let me see. 1 to 2 minutes. 1 minute, 30 seconds. 2. Okay. We're going to go with 2 minutes. 2 minutes is the official count. We're going with 2 minutes, right? So every speaker, shit, my phone is going off. Give me 1 second. I'm still in the office, unfortunately, but fuck it. I'm rocking out. So we're going with 2 minutes, okay? So everybody's limited to 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, Barbara, Lev, you guys want to help me with the timers? Let's go ahead and do that. But I'm going to have a stopwatch right next to me this whole entire show. So nobody in the world can call me biased. Nobody in the world can call me a fucking Zayo, okay? And nobody in the I think those are the only two actually, bias and Zayo. That's the new slang. Okay, let's go ahead and kick this over to Sammy real quick. Sammy, so you've told me what terrorism is. You've told me who you think is a terrorist, right? Now I need you to do this, okay? In under 2 minutes, tell me why you believe Hamas is not a terrorist group. Go now.
All right, Nelson. So, just in response to the reason I think that Hamas is not a terrorist organization is because I believe that they are a military organization that carries out military operations. Right now, at this time, actually, there has not. I'm going to stand by the position I've had for every time I've been on your space that there needs to be an independent investigation into the events on October 7th to see if it was indeed a military operation or operation that directly targeted civilians. And I want to say that, the idea that the IDF does not have a political goal in Gaza is wrong. They want to take all of the Gazan territory. And anyone who thinks that IDF does not have a political goal is this. Dumbass! Yeah. You hear that, Nelson? And and anyone, frankly, there just needs to be an independent investigation until October 7th to prove that Hamas are terrorists. Otherwise, they're innocent until proven guilty. What I think they did was a military operation. I've seen a lot of evidence showing that a lot of the Israeli civilians killed on October 7th were indeed killed by the IDF themselves. And I've seen that Hamas took out 50 military commanders on October 7th, and I think that was their goal, and they achieved that goal. So I don't really need to go the full 2 minutes. If anyone wants to ask me anything, I can respond, but yeah.
There we go. And I'm glad you established as to why I can never hire your ass. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Same. Don't come near me.
I mean,
don't send your resume.
I mean, dude, man,
I don't want to send you
if I got somebody like you working for me, man, I might not. I mean, dude, I would definitely not have money, man. I can tell for sure. You just might make me bankrupt having your dumb ass around.
I have a question for Sammy. So would you
Bab,
would
bab, bab,
go
bab, bab,
into
babs. Are you participating in the debate? I need to run a timer. Are you jumping in?
Okay, no. I wasn't participating. I find all right, go. You're running the show. I find it interesting. But go ahead,
He's an
Nelson.
interesting character.
There's so many people with
Shit,
hands
I
up,
mean,
so
I want to
I
give it
digress.
to. Let me see who I want to give it to, guys. Who wants to take Sammy on right now? Let me go to Storm. Storm, you got 2 minutes starting now. Go.
Yeah, well, the definition of terrorism is very easy. And if you look at it, it's to inflict harm on innocent people. If you ever look at brothers and sisters, they terrorize each other. Hamas killed innocent people. How can you not see? It doesn't matter if it's a military operation. Who are they taking their orders from? So you have to understand on October 7th, it might be that who threw the first punch first, and it might not have got caught. But dude, you cannot run around shooting innocent people. I don't know where you get your information from. Maybe I need to research it a little bit more, but I'm not on that same page with you. People don't do that. Terrorist organizations do. So you have to classify them as a terrorist organization if that's the definition. And judging my definition, yeah, they are. I don't need 2 minutes, Nelson. It's clear cut, dude. It's black and white.
Boom. There we go. Sammy, you have a chance to respond. Are you ready?
Yeah, well, I'll be way less than 2 minutes. He just said that uh, killing, innocent people is terrorism, and I would agree with that. But I would disagree with the idea that military personnel are innocent people. This is a 75-year war. This is not a new war, 2023 war. This is a battle that's a part of a 75-year war. And military are not innocent personnel. So there was a ceasefire that was put into place on May of 2021. And immediately after that ceasefire went into effect, Israel has killed hundreds of innocent Palestinians, including over 100 children since May of 2021, which is the date of the last ceasefire. And, you know, that is part of the reason why October 7th, which I still believe is a military operation until there's an independent investigation, not an IDF investigation, that says otherwise. Thank you.
Boom. There we go. Storm, you're up.
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree with you vehemently that they just killed military personnel. There is documented mounds of evidence that they killed innocent civilians. And if that's the case, if you just think Hamas took out military operators, I don't know where you're getting your information. Now, if Israel did the same thing, if the IDF did the same thing, they would be also considered terrorists. So you might have a moot point here. Both of them could be terrorist organizations. But if you're saying that Hamas is defending itself and they're not killing innocent people, dude, you're way off the reservation. We've got to have another come to Jesus talk.
There we go. There we go. All right. I'm going to get off of Sammy and Storm. Let me tag. Oh, shit. Man, she wants to get in. All right. Noya. You, actually, no, I got to go to a pro Palestinian to respond to you. Sammy,
This is so short.
I mean, I got to run it bounce. I got to make it bounce. Okay. Sammy,
I can jump in.
Omar, you got 2 minutes. By the way, guys, if you're in the audience, definitely raise your hands to get on stage, whether you're on the Palestine side or the Israeli side, doesn't matter. Everybody gets 2 minutes apiece, and we're going back and forth, back and forth. We're going to run this like an actual debate, okay? Omar, 2 minutes. Start. 2 minutes starting now. Go.
Awesome. Yeah, so going back to what I stated, which was that I believe the IDF is acting as a terrorist organization with uniforms. What I meant by that was, and I want to elaborate, I live in America. So imagine in America, we have a lot of school shootings here, and I know Nelson knows about what's going on. In the last 5-10 years, it's been bad. Imagine we were in a situation where a school shooter is in a school or a hospital, and instead of addressing it the way we did, we would just say, let's bomb the whole school or the whole hospital. That's how the IDF is conducting itself in Gaza. It doesn't have any type of special operations that the America has done when we went after Al Qaeda or Osama bin Laden. They don't do that. They just indiscriminately bomb the civilian population. It's part of their doctrine called the Dahiya doctrine. You can look it up, to inflict as much damage to the civilian population, to put pressure on them to turn around and say we're anti-Hamas. And everything I cite here is coming from the words of Israeli leaders and politicians and from the doctrine and policies of the IDF themselves. So I'm citing everything from Israeli sources, and you can look it up yourself. They have even one of the ministers even stated to nuking Gaza. I mean, that's how uh, genocidal their intent is. And this is quoting him word by word. He did get suspended, however, and not for the reasons you may think. It was because he was discussing nuclear capabilities of Israel on TV. So yeah, with that being said, I don't even need the 2 minutes, but I land my plane.
Yo,
Man,
Nelson, let me
man,
spot
Oh,
that.
wait,
you guys have been.
Omar, you were quoting word by word. That was word by word? I just want to clear that up, Omar.
Yeah, do you want the exact quote? I can pull it up.
Yeah, go ahead and DM that to me. I want to hear your word for word reference. It's fascinating. And then if it's legit, I'll apologize, but I want to make sure I get that word for word in there.
There we
Absolutely.
Yo,
go. There we
let me
go.
respond to that, Nelson.
Oh, Lev, you want to get in?
Yeah, let me jump
All
into
right,
this a
two
little.
minutes starting now.
All right, so first of all, Omar made an example of trying to say that if in America there was a hospital or a hostage situation, we wouldn't throw a bomb. Obviously, we wouldn't throw a bomb because we would have special tactical units that would be able to surround the hospital, go in, and be able to hostage negotiations because it would be on our land. This is going on in a military war. The IDF cannot go in there under hostile conditions and try to go in there and try to find one or two or 100 or 20, whatever the number is, of Hamas soldiers. The other thing is that's what's interesting to me. What I don't understand how you could differentiate when you say terror. See, it's I could understand maybe in one way that you're such a strong Palestinian supporter, where you could say, okay, terror is both ways, where the IDF is terror and Hamas is terror. But how do you get off saying that the IDF is terror and you're justifying what Hamas is an operation, military operation? Just doesn't make sense, bro.
There we go. He only did it in 1 minute. Mr. Omar, you want to respond?
Well, Lev, we all know that Israel is in Gaza, so it being a whole different country or entity isn't stopping them from going in there. And yeah, they can conduct themselves the way America has. America has special operations. They have people that can give them recommendations on how to eliminate Hamas, but they don't do that. The way they go about it is inflict as much damage to the entire civilian population. It's part of their doctrine. They have it as official policy, and that's exactly what we're seeing on the ground. And that's why we're seeing tens of thousands of people being killed because there is no military strategy. It's strictly to create as much pressure on the population as possible.
Lev,
So
let's go.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna quickly say, Omar, everything you just gave is your opinion. Opinions, it's great.
It's
Everybody
not
could
my
have
opinion.
one. It's not fact.
I,
There's no factual to anything you're saying. And when you make a ridiculous, and excuse me, dumbass comment,
I have
when you
receipts.
hold
I've got
on, hold
receipts.
on a second, bro. When you make a ridiculous comment and say that Israel is in Gaza, yeah, they're in Gaza now after they did an aerial bomb attack to be able to make their way so they could cause as least as possible damage to their own soldiers, which nobody talks about. And if in the US we had a hostage situation and we had our special tacticals trying to get in, and at the same time we had people outside the hospital shooting at the tactical people, it would be a different situation. Trust me when I tell you, bro. So you have to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges.
There we go. 1 minute. Omar, do you want to respond to him?
Yeah, and real quick, I want to send Barbara the citation. And yeah, you can claim it's my
Yeah,
opinion,
you
Lev.
can DM me your word for word, my friend.
Yeah, you need to follow me back, and I'll send it to you.
I
Thank you.
can check. I don't need to follow you. I can check my
Guys,
DMs. But thank
we're
you. I
eating into
appreciate
his
it.
I
time.
can't.
13 seconds gone. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I can't send you a DM unless you follow me back. Okay. But anyways, Lev. Um, yeah, you could say it's my opinion, man. And I've cited Israeli sources here, and I've cited the article that I sent to Barbara. I'm happy to debate it further, but I don't think we're going to reach any consensus on what we think is terrorism unless we can agree on the definition, which I stated by giving an Oxford source. Yeah, with that being said, again, Hamas doesn't represent the Palestinian people. And if you guys want me to be fair, I don't. Does IDF represent all of Israelis? I don't think so. So I'm keeping it leveled. I'm keeping it fair among both parties, and I think I stand by all my statements. I've made so far.
You didn't send it. It's not in my any of my mail. And
Barbara, you have to follow me back. I cannot send you
darling,
the.
sweetheart, I already followed you. You can go ahead and send it.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, great.
So for the people in the audience right now, so you've got three people on stage that believe the IDF is the terrorists and not Hamas, right? And the rest of the people on stage, of course, believe in fact that Hamas is indeed the terrorist and not the IDF. I need to know who you guys think is the terrorist. Okay, so you have three options, and this is for everybody else in the space, for everybody in the audience right now. The three options are as follows: IDF, Hamas, or both. I need to know which I need to know what option you guys want to pick. Okay. So everybody in the space, I need you to hit the chat feature right now, bottom right corner of the space, especially those of you guys that want to get on stage, by the way, right? Let me know exactly where you stand in a chat right now. If IDF is a terrorist, I need you to type IDF in a chat feature, bottom right hand corner. Respond to the tweet of this space. If Hamas is the terrorist group, I need you to drop it in the chat right now. If you think both entities are terrorists, drop it in the chat right now. Just say both. Everybody get in there right now, especially the 30 people trying to get on stage. I need to know where you guys stand in order to know who to bring on stage so we can have a balanced space. Okay. I don't want more Israelis than Palestinians or more Palestinians than Israelis on this stage. I'm trying to keep it as balanced as possible. Okay. That being said, let me go to Mr. Brian. Mr. Brian, let me
Thank you, brother. And you're
wait,
lucky
wait, wait, wait. I
because
forgot, I
I
forgot to
have to.
mention one thing. Every speaker in this
Sure.
space tonight gets 2 minutes. Your timer starts now.
Cool. Well, I got to run quickly anyway, so I just wanted to say that I posted a long discussion of mine on what is the nature and definition, a useful definition of terrorism. And what I would say is that Hamas is definitely a terrorist group. It does some other things too. It has a governing role, but it's a terrorist group. The IDF is not a terrorist group. They're a formal military, and that doesn't mean that I don't think that the IDF operates at Hamas's level, but I do think it commits war crimes at times, and there's some of those going on now, but war crimes and terrorism are not the same thing. Excessive use of force and terrorism are not the same thing, so we have to be very careful with our terminology. And I do think that the IDF has, for all the criticism I have engaged with it on, or leveled at it, it does operate in with more care and consideration for the rules of war than Hamas does. But that doesn't mean that the IDF is not very problematic.
All right, there we go. I appreciate you for that information. Who disagrees?
Thank you, brother.
Left, do you disagree with what he's saying right now? Who disagrees with what he's saying right now?
Well, of course I disagree. I
Let's
mean,
go.
Brian is a good guy. He's trying to be politically correct, and he's trying to give it. But at the end of my
Lev,
call,
we lost you. We lost you,
yeah,
bro. Let's go.
I call coming in. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, Hamas is the terrorist group. Are there war crimes committed by armies? I mean, it happens not only with the IDF, it happens with the American armies, it happens with Ukrainian army, happens with every army. It's the people, not the decision of the whole army. So when you say, yeah, there's certain things, there might be war crimes committed, there might be certain atrocities that certain soldiers commit to do. Yeah, that probably will happen, and that's one of the things unfortunate with war. But that does not compare to what a Hamas terrorist organization does when they go and target innocent people. So it's a very strict definition of what terror and what certain individuals decide to do criminal activities that need to get punished.
And I agree, bro.
I appreciate you. Let's go to GT. GT, I just brought you on stage right now. Because I saw your comment in a chat. What's going on, my brother? Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So,
Um,
GT, you said that you believe IDF are in fact the terrorist group, correct?
yeah.
Okay. Now tell me this
Well, this is very simple.
before you
This
get
is
to that
very
though. Just
yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
before you get to that, I want you to give me your definition of terrorism in under 30 seconds, real quick.
When you terrorize a population, when you inflict death and for the purpose of fear to convince people to behave a certain way.
Okay. Copy that. And I want you to tell me why you think IDF is the terrorist group in under 30 seconds. Let's go.
IDF is the war machine for Israel, and Gaza are victims because there is no war. This is not a war. These people are trying to defend themselves from the constant oppression of apartheid. So if you use apartheid, this is not a war. And if you apply that, then all war rules don't apply here either. It's simply apartheid.
Copy that. Copy that. Copy that. All right. So, now I'm gonna give you a full 2 minutes now, right? I
I
want you
don't
to.
need any more. I'm good. But if you want me to, you want to ask a question, or somebody wants to.
Oh, I mean, I'm the one controlling these people on the stage right now. They want to eat you up like a fucking, you know, like a school of freaking sharks. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
studied
So,
it for quite a few years. I've been watching it. I've seen it. Uh, I've seen them torture children. I've seen them break their bones. That's to me before a war. I've seen that. So there's no war. This is apartheid. You can tell me what explanation you can give me for anybody breaking the arms of children and imprisoning them into your jails without without any trials, and spreading false information about the elected group Hamas.
okay, copy that. Real quick, GT, before we get back in the debate, just want to know a little bit more about you, my brother. So, your name's GT. I'm guessing those are your initials. Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm from Toronto, Canada, Ontario.
Toronto. And do you have ties to the Middle East, or are you just, an innocent observer, just calling things
I'm
out
an
for what you
innocent
think they are?
observer. I'm an innocent. I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm innocent, but I'm an observer
Oh,
of all clashes and all cruelty in the world. Not
copy
just
that.
not just Hamas or just Israel,
Copy that.
including our government, including the American government, including the Ukraine government, including any government you want.
Copy that. Copy that. Got it. Got it. GT, welcome to the show, man. Let's go. Okay. So let me see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let me go to Noya. Is it Noya? Noya, what's going on? How you doing? Do you want to go ahead and have a conversation with him?
Yes, I just
All right,
want to
let's go.
tell
2 minutes
GT,
starting right now.
if these people were just defending themselves, then how is killing baby, butchering women, and slaughtering them and hanging them on ropes is exactly fighting for your freedom? That's one thing. The second thing, if you're following what's happening in the Middle East, you know that in the past 75 years, they've been bombing us with bombs constantly, ceasefire or not. For 75 years, there are rockets above our houses. 75 years. And just to give you a little bit of more information, since 2005, Israel left Gaza. We left Gaza and we left them Israeli territories. You know what they did with them? They built Hamas. Bam.
Shit, let's go. GT, you want to respond to it real quick, my brother? Two
Sure.
minutes starts now.
So butchering babies, hanging them, and raping, whatever you want to call it, all those atrocities that you've claimed, I've seen them from Israel. I've seen the footage
Where?
from Israel for many years. For 20 years, I've been looking at this stuff. So don't ask me for a piece of evidence, because if you haven't seen one video in over 20 years, I think you are a propagandist.
Show
But
me
anyway,
video, please.
I just told you I've seen them for 20 years. You can pop any of them up. Just Google it, please.
The kid with the
Tell me
hand
by
that you are
showing
talking
evidence.
about?
And the next thing.
Real quick. Let me establish the rules again for those of you that might not understand the rules. Ladies and gentlemen, we are hosting a debate right now. We're hosting a debate with both sides. Everybody in this space has a chance to get on stage and grab the microphone and represent your side. Here are the rules. Each speaker gets 2 minutes, and I'm literally monitoring every single second with a stopwatch. Please do not interrupt anyone that's speaking. Do not eat into their time. Very important. Okay. Everyone's going to have a chance to respond because it's going to be Israel, Palestine, back and forth, right? We're not going to have 10 people on the same side, speak. That's just not going to happen. Okay. So once again, I noticed you were jumping in to interrupt there. Just calm down. I'm going to reset the clock again for my man GT, and then you can jump in and respond. GT, clock starts now. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. So if you have evidence like you suggested present to you, then I'd be more than willing to make the effort to present to you the evidence that counteracts your evidence. The second point about what was the second point? It was can you please refresh me for me, please? Oh yeah, you left them for like 75 years. Can you tell me about the year before the 75 years when they came in and took over their houses? And can you explain to me about how Israel can claim an area that's should be preserved for archival purposes, and it just so happens to be on the owned by an area that's owned by a Palestinian, and the government, the courts will choose to say yes, we agree with that, that it should be a sacred little place, and 6 months after that, they tear it down and build a home for you folks. I'm done.
There we go. Noya.
May I jump in and answer? Yes. So first of all, the video, I just looked it up. The video that you are talking about, the kid with the broken arms, it's actually a great example, because this kid went out of Israeli prison totally complete and unattacked, and then he went to Gaza. His arms got broken, and then he got filmed for propaganda purposes. If you see the community notes on X, they will prove what I'm saying. So the second thing is, in Israel, before 48, the Brits came in and not Israel. There wasn't a single building in this little piece of land called Israel. And if you look at the map, 78% of Palestine is being occupied by Jordan, who is, by the way, now not opening its gate to even one single Gazian refugee because they don't want to take them. 78%. Look up any map on Google Maps of Israel before 48. You will find exactly what I'm talking, and I can post it in the chat for you.
There we go. GT, you have 1 minute to respond. Go ahead.
So it's good that you collect those facts, because it's important to know your position that you need to constantly defend yourselves about the absolute control over people that have simple little explosives compared to your nuclear weapons trying to attack you. And there's plenty of videos of people claiming they're being attacked and they're not. In fact, there's plenty of videos of you guys claiming that you're actually making fun of them, or tell me that's not true. Going into their houses, stealing their jewelry now that you've bombed the shit out of everything.
Damn. Okay. All right. Now let me do this, right? I mean, guys, I really wish I was debating, man, because like, I mean, some of these points you guys can easily just, just go for that, Mike Tyson knockout, man. I don't know why you guys are, playing around too much, man. Let me go to Piotr. Piotr, do you want to go ahead and respond to GT real quick in under 2 minutes, my brother?
Well, you know me, it'll be a long 2 minutes, but I'll do my best. And we do have a few dumbasses on here tonight, so you might need to get that little dumbass thing going for us all. But yeah, I mean, look, unfortunately, this is an argument of perceptions. Some people are going to argue that these people are freedom fighters. Other people are going to argue that they are terrorists. The Russia-Ukraine war is a good example, because a lot of the world wants to designate Russia a terrorist state because of what it's been doing with Ukraine, whilst others just think that Ukraine is full of terrorists, fascists, Nazis, and so on. Now, I think that what Russia does in some context is terroristic, but I don't know necessarily whether designating Russia as a country a terrorist state is a wise move. However, it's a little bit different with Palestine and Israel, because this is a non-state versus state actor. I know some people will argue that it isn't a non-state because Palestine should be a state, but unfortunately, as it stands in international law, Palestine is only an observer state in the UN, and it doesn't have the same, therefore, access to certain sort of things like just recognition, support, and also just its own military. It doesn't have an airport, it doesn't have a military. So I think GT has some points that a lot of people echo, which is that this is not exactly a fair fight. But then it doesn't, I still think, other people will say it doesn't justify what happened on October 7th. October 7th is a terroristic act. If you see the 45 minutes of what happened, it's ungodly. It's abhorrent. It's atrocity in the purest form. And IDF being called a terrorist
10,
entity
9,
is
8,
difficult because it's the
7,
national military.
6,
But
5,
I can understand
4,
how people will feel
3,
that it is.
2,
There
1,
you go.
0.
2 minutes on a dot. All right.
Why is that so sexual? That sounds incredibly sexual. I'm very concerned by your
Hey,
choice of
that's that
violence.
deep voice, man. You know what I'm saying? Gets the girls going crazy. All right. Let me go to Adiro real quick. Adiro, I don't know what your stance is, my brother, but I'm pretty sure in the next 2 minutes we can figure it out. Let's go.
Okay, so thank you for the privilege to speak on your space. I was a peace advocate most of my life, and the last thing in October 7 actually woke me up. I could never believe in peace again because Israel actually left Gaza in 2005, and the only regime in Gaza since then was Hamas. The terror regime who actually killed many of PLO representatives in order to seize the regime. So the only occupation they have is Hamas, and there is no apartheid. This is a joke. Beside that, if you look on the history of the things, Jews were the real indigenous of this land. The Palestinians, the identity is something that invented only on the 60s, and actually, if they do DNA test, they will find out that their ancestors are from Jordan, from Syria, from Egypt. They won't find that the ancestors are from the Israel. So actually, what happened here actually woke up many peace advocates, and because this area that they actually raped and killed and tortured were full of many people that was actually all about peace. Some of them were taking many Palestinians to cancer treatment and so on. And they actually united us all together, left and right. And I can tell you that I used to be leftist, and I feel ashamed that I was, because after listening to your spaces, I found out many people that call themselves moderated Palestinians who actually explain exactly that the noble cause of the Palestinians is to refrain the Jews from having state. They don't want a land.
8,
They just
7,
want to
6,
refrain
5,
the Jews from having
4,
land. The noble
3,
cause of the
2,
Jews is
1,
the opposite, to have a
0.
land. That's all.
My brother, man, I love this shit, man. We're giving everybody 2 minutes. Nobody in the world can say I'm biased after this shit. Everybody gets 2 minutes. All right. GT, I saw you throwing a thumbs down the entire time you was speaking. You have 2 minutes. Let's go.
Wow, there were so many things there, but I'm going to just say I'm going to try to focus in on a few. Uh, the fact that you have Palestine and you talk about the genealogy, DNA evidence of all of that, I would look at other areas a little bit further than what you just located, including all of Europe. And a lot of those people moved out there. And then you would look also in North America, you would see the bloodline out there. So uh, you can't use that as a valid point. The second is that you have other pieces of information that consistently rise above others. Every country in the world has tribes. Every country has multiple tribes trying to kill each other throughout history. Okay? But they were always equal in equipment and always equal and had some ground rules on all of that. But the new way of doing things, the Nazi way of doing things, the leftist way of doing things is to censor, control, and remove anybody that does not follow. So if you do not follow the rules, yeah, if you do not follow those rules that they prescribe to, then the victims get slaughtered. And now nobody can ever say that's not true. Now, the Palestinians are being slaughtered. We can all agree 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people died because of a few people they want to imprison. but they're so scared to go in there because they're dug in, and they probably paid for it. Israel paid for it. So many things.
George, you got 2 minutes, my brother. Jump in. Let's go.
All right. This guy is so crazy. There is a long-standing tradition of defining state and non-state, and lately sub-state terrorist organizations. Hamas fits both a sub-state and a non-state definition of terrorism. They target civilians explicitly. They are a genocidal Nazi ideology mixed with Islamist ideology terrorist group. Okay, it's not even in doubt. They say what they're going to do and then they're going to do it. It was in their charter to murder all Jews worldwide, especially Jews in Israel. They then changed their charter. And then in 2019, their political leader went on video and said, yeah, nope, we want Muslims all around the world to murder people. Okay. Meanwhile, what Israel does, right, is Israel lives with a 20% Arab population, 18.5% Muslim population. Israel is really bad at terrorism, right? Because they took 1 million Gazans and they encouraged them to evacuate following the Geneva Convention, right? They even escorted some of them with tanks, right? Israel is not a terrorist state. Israel is engaged in war. And anybody who thinks they're a student of the Middle East and they're looking at Syria, they're looking at Iran, Iraq, Turkey, go down the list, right? There are hundreds of thousands, in some cases, millions of people dying in the Middle East and North Africa because of wars, right? Israel having saved 1 million plus Gazans, right? Against Hamas's will, and having killed whether it's 5, 10, or 15,000, and war is tragic, right? But those figures are not verified. And Israel having killed 5, 10, 15,000 in the course of a war is not at all a terrorist organization.
Man, I love this 2 minute timer. Okay, let me go to Afzal. Afzal, respond to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, my friend George always very nice to indulge with him. He
We're not
triggers me
friends.
somehow. Now, okay, all right. It's a player. It's a player. Yeah. I mean, how can I be friend with
10 seconds
occupiers?
gone.
Obviously, I'm not. Okay. Now, the thing is, Nelson, Hamas is really not out there killing everybody and continuously 24 hours the way you are painting. Okay, it's a calculated operation the entire world has seen. Okay, they prepared regardless. It's legality aside. But I am only responding to your narrative that they are just out there and killing with Islamist ideology of killing everybody. There is no such thing as 72 virgins and going to heaven for killing innocent people. You are making up. I'm sure every time you read from the manual, it's okay that you have a manual. You read from a page number such and such and passages such and such. It's fine. But that is wrong. That is immoral. That is lie. That is asbara idea propaganda manual which you read from, and we have to rebuttal every single time. There is no such thing as 72 virgins, no matter how much you keep on repeating Benjamin Netanyahu's 30-year narrative. Okay, so they are not out there killing innocent people everywhere, not at all. They are targeting IDF, Israeli occupiers, and whoever the occupier is legitimately at their target. They are the occupied, and whoever the occupiers are, they are fighting against them. There should be no ifs and buts. That's how the entire world sees this conflict. You have problem, and you have interpretations. Again, number of deaths today, IDF again. They took the 5,000 arbitrary number. Remember my answer to my question. I was given mic over there, by the way, today at IDF, and he did mention some number coming from somewhere 5,000. If it is 5,000, then 25,000 roughly is the number total killed. Should be 20,000 plus
All right,
civilians,
there
right?
we go. There we
So
go. There we
thank you.
go. Timer up. I knew you. I knew your ass was gonna be the only person that's. It's all good. All right, let me go to Piotr. Piotr, let's talk about him.
Yeah, look, I tried to draw a bit of a neutral line on these situations, but when it comes to trying to identify which one of these is more of a terrorist, it's not really a conversation that's, well, it, you may feel how you do about what Israel has done, and I think that there's a lot of value in listening to Palestinian voices about the treatment and the build up to what October 7th was. But as someone who actually worked in the UN, in the Security Council, the day that the 11-day war in May 21 happened, and seeing the events unfold from the diplomatic front, I can tell you firsthand, Israel may have a side that you don't like, but the IDF is not a terrorist, because the difference between 2021 May and October 7th, 23 is nothing happened. Yes, there were tensions, but that was actually some of the most peaceful that the Gaza Strip, West Bank, and Israel have been in the 21st century. And then suddenly it changes on October 7th. So who was the one who made the change? It wasn't the Israelis. Again, I'm not denying the grievances and frustrations that the Palestinians have, absolutely not. But they weren't the ones that suddenly made a massive military move. It was the Hamas group. And not just Hamas, they worked with the PIJ, with Hezbollah, with Iran over 2.5 years to plan this bloody thing. And it led to the atrocities that we saw on that day. And I would also point out that when we talk about Russia versus Ukraine, yes, you could talk about the bad things in Ukraine, but it was Russia that made that move on February 24th. So for me, I cannot really stand by and sort of say that Hamas isn't a terroristic organization. It very much is, and I think it's hard to put them into the same category as the IDF, as heavy-handed as they may act as a military force.
Damn. Okay. Let me go to Sammy. No, actually, Ahmad, you came on stage. Just to clarify, are you a pro-Palestinian?
You talking about me?
Yes.
Yeah, I am
You
pro-Palestinian. Yes,
got
sir.
2 minutes to respond. Let's talk about it.
All right, cool. Again, the definition or whatever the topic is really is just what is terrorism? Who is a terrorist? I believe that the IDF is a complete terrorist organization in regards to what they were before. They were the Urgun. They were the Lavai. There was another organization. There was another terrorist organization, Israeli terrorist organization that was classified as that before the IDF became what it is now. They were merged, and then in '48 became what is known as the IDF. So anybody that wants to come up and say that it isn't terrorism is just making a fool out of themselves, not looking at what history has shown us. Okay, a lot of the situation here is that Israel gets away with a lot. Israel gets away with, decimating whole neighborhoods, and is indiscriminately taking out people, civilians. Right? It's now, what is the ratio? 100, almost 150, I think, to one. All right, 150 civilians to one H member, one Hamas member. So, uh, for me, this is disproportionate to what happened, considering the fact that this was a military operation against military personnel, and against. By the way, I just want to make sure uh, I'm clear. I'm against any civilian deaths on both sides. This was a military operation against Israel, and this happened where they took out, what was the death toll? Like 1,200, and half of that was military personnel. And then you have where the IDF even shelled their own kibbutzes in that area. They had tanks going in. You had the Apache helicopter. All that stuff that happened. They took out a lot of innocent people themselves, their own people. So again, this is a terrorist organization by all means. Thank you.
There we go. Under 2 minutes. I need somebody who wants to respond. Let me go to somebody who hasn't spoken. Syrian, please go ahead and respond to this brother. Talk about it.
Yeah, so, I keep hearing a lot of the speakers repeating that this was a military operation by Hamas on October 7th. But, the evidence which Hamas themselves captured on their GoPros clearly shows that it wasn't. They went into the homes of people in those kibbutzes who were, many of them in their pajamas. They killed men, women, and children who had nothing to do with any military. Also, those kids who were dancing at the music festival. To me, that doesn't look like any military operation. When they entered Israel, they didn't have any intent to go after military targets. They did make it to some bases, but their intent was to terrorize, to commit terrorism against Israeli civilians. And just to add to what Piotr said, who said it so eloquently, they poked they poked Israel. They started this war. They and I think they're responsible for everything that's going on in Gaza right now.
There we go. Ahmad, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, man. Listen, this is a joke. The whole thing was an operation. They went in there to get personnel to hold the as like prisoners of war. They went in there, grabbed prisoners of war, and took them so that they could exchange them for the prisoners of war in the West Bank. That's the whole point. The whole point of them was to grab people from that area to hold them and get an exchange. Because working with Israel doesn't benefit anybody. They won't work with Hamas. They won't work with the PLO. Every time they say they offer peace, it doesn't offer them sovereignty. So what is peace? The status quo? You could keep your status quo. The H group doesn't want anything to do with you guys. The whole point, and again, this is not an attack on Jewish people. They're attacking the Zionist ideology, the Zionist government. People need to understand that the Zionist government is what is in place right now, is a racist government and is pushing the people to this. They're subjugating the people to this. They're making the people do this. They're leaving it as their last resort. And people don't understand that this, because I don't know, whatever this guy was saying, it was just a whole load of baloney, man. Being honest, it's a whole load of horseshit. You're coming in here talking about, oh, it's terrorism. The Israeli organization as it stands is a terrorist organization that's been implementing terrorism on the people that are Muslim, Christian, and Jews in the West Bank and in Gaza. There you go. I'm done.
Whoa. Okay. Let me just pause it right there. Ahmad, I want to point something out to you real quick. Do you see that video that I just pinned up top?
Uh, no, not really. To be honest, bro, I didn't see it. No.
I just did it right now just for you. Right. I actually came across it earlier today, and I want you to take a look at that. Right. That's from October 7th. That's a lady. Right. Her name is Amit Susana. Right. I need everybody in the space to check it out. Scroll all the way to the top of the page, and you can see it. And
Oh, okay.
what
I
you
see it now.
basically
Yeah.
have is, this is October 7th. You've got a bunch of Hamas, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men. Actually, you got like 8 men. That is them essentially kidnapping this lady. You can see her top comes off, her breasts are hanging out. They carry her on her back. 7 plus men carrying this young lady, Amit Susana, and taking her back to Gaza away from her family. Everybody in the space, scroll all the way to the top of the page, and you can see that video there, clear as day. Ahmad, I'm going to ask you a quick question, right? Do you consider, matter of fact, do you have a sister?
Of course, obviously, yeah.
Do you have a wife?
To be honest, I don't want to answer too many personal questions, but I get where you're going.
Now, my question to you is very simple, right? Do you consider those individuals kidnapping this lady away from her family? Do you consider them to be terrorists?
No. Again, the reason why they took those people was for the one thing is that it's a hostage, or what is it called, a prisoner swap. They wanted to do those to get those people as a prisoner swap. Now, again, nobody's perfect. And again, I'm not a advocate for the H group. I'm not a spokesperson for them on how they perform or act. Nobody is. Okay, they are their own spokespeople and they do whatever they want to do. Okay, so my point is that they're grabbing people to hold
of what they did many, many years ago to our Haifa. So I don't understand why everybody's sticking to October the 7th. It was so many things that happened before the October 7th. October 7th is just the bump that right now open all of the eyes from so many people around the world that can decline also Hamas as a terrorist organization, and suddenly they choose to make them fighters. So it's very disappointed for me as an Israeli to hear all of these voices, also from America and from Europe. And I think that all of you right now choosing the wrong place at the history. So I suggest you to understand the situation of the Jewish people around the world and also the Israelis, that 20% of us are Arabs, and basically some of those Arabs, they are right now in Gaza in the front. They are fighting with our people. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Let me do this real quick. Let me go to. I know we have Sammy. Sammy, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Ahmad, and I just want just a quick 10-second answer. Right, that video up top of the space right now.
I can't get
Those
2 minutes.
no, I'm just asking you a question. Right.
Okay.
So again, you have probably 7 guys grabbing this one lady, young lady. She's literally topless, breasts hanging out, grabbing her on their back, taking her to Gaza, armed individuals. She's struggling to get out. Do you consider these guys terrorists based off of what you see in that video?
I do not believe any Palestinian can be called a terrorist.
Okay. Do you condemn what you see in that video?
I need a bit more context. I mean, the music festival, everyone's dancing with their breasts hanging out to begin with.
Okay, bro. Okay. Have you watched the video?
I see this video. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to kidnap her.
And you can tell she's wearing a white shirt that comes off as they're struggling. Do you see that in the video?
Yeah, I do see that, Nelson. I wish the world was a better place, man. But you know what? This is a hostage situation. I mean, it's just the
Sammy, I wish you. I
Sammy,
wish
it's a
Wait,
bit
Sammy,
tough to
can
one
say.
second,
I
guys.
say something?
One second, guys.
Can I
One
just
second,
say
one second,
something?
one second. Babs, I'm gonna tag you in right now. 2 minutes. Let's go.
I'm not. I don't need 2 minutes, Sammy. You're just a disappointment. You're a disgrace. It's disgusting that you can't condemn. You're trying to rationalize, and I pray for your soul. Bless your heart. You have a very troubled soul, and you have a very, very dark future ahead of you. That woman was being attacked by 7 men. She was dancing at a festival. And you're saying her breasts were already hanging out when she started with a shirt on and then she didn't have a shirt off? I just pray for you. I just pray for you. Nobody on this stage or in this room that can't see that for what it is has serious problems. And I'm sure you're calling from your parents' basement. And I hope you have more aspirations than that. But there's no way you're going to amount to anything with that kind of bullshit. But thank you. That's all I wanted to say. I really do. I pray for you.
There we go.
I
Sammy,
appreciate.
Okay, Nelson,
one second, my brother.
Can I give
Calm
her?
down. Okay. Raise your hand up like everybody else. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Sammy, do you want a chance to respond?
Yeah, of course I do.
You have 2 minutes. Let's go.
All right, so I'll come back to Babs in just a second, but Mariah said that all these Middle Eastern countries designate Hamas as a terrorist organization. That's not true. The only countries in the world that designate Hamas as a terrorist organization are the United States, Canada, the European Union, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. Up until a week ago, last week, Japan removed Hamas from their terrorism list. The next thing is Piotr said that there was all this peace between May 2021 and October 7th. Here's what I think of that. Dumbass. Yeah. So
Yeah, mate, you're a dumbass because you don't understand what I meant by peace.
there were hundreds
Jesus
of
Christ,
Palestinians
retard,
killed
man.
between May 2021 and
Yeah,
October
relative to
7th.
what it
Over
is,
100
numbnut. I'm
children.
cutting your
Guys,
teeth
don't eat into his time. Don't eat
if you know
into his
what I
time.
mean.
Go ahead, Sammy.
Can we reset the clock for that one?
Well, he used half of his clock for dumbass.
Anyways,
Listen, you have 60 seconds left.
all right, listen. I really, really wish that October 7th was not necessary. That that the Palestinian people didn't need to get a bunch of hostages to exchange for their prisoners, which are thousands of people. Which, by the way, there is actual evidence of rape by Israeli soldiers of Palestinian men, women, and children in prisons. That is just a fact that has actual evidence. Now, I'm waiting for evidence on October 7th. I've always said that we need a real, full, independent investigation of October 7th to prove that because until Hamas is proven guilty, they are innocent, and what happened on October 7th was a military operation. Thank you very much. And Zionists, here you go. One more time. Oh, never mind. Never.
Nelson, may I?
Yes. 2 minutes. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. So basically, I speak Arabic and I have a lot of friends from different Arab countries, and they decline Hamas as terrorist organization before the peace agreement that become to be with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain and Morocco. And the Egyptian side, for an example, they don't want to open the gate between Gaza and Egypt. It's because the 2006 when Hamas get in power, and since then they don't want to open the gate between those countries. And Sammy, please, when I'm speaking and I'm saying the truth, please don't come here and say that I'm lying. Please educate yourself. Thank you.
There we go. All right. Real quick, right? Real quick. I'm actually very curious right now. I heard Ahmad and
Nelson,
Sammy.
can I give my opinion, please?
My brother, I'm trying to moderate. Okay. Your opinion is not more important than me moderating for 800 people. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Matter of fact, round of applause. With your dumb ass. Okay. I'm actually very curious right now, right? Because what I'm hearing on this stage is kind of disturbing. Again, it's a debate space, so I don't want to, jump on anybody as the moderator. I want to play it cool. But how can we not how can people in this space not rebuke what you see in that video right now? Like I'm actually very, very confused. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I've got a wife, I've got a daughter, I've got a mom. And I'm pretty sure that lady in that video has a bunch of people like me who care about her, right? You got her breasts hanging out. You know what I'm saying? You got 7+ guys with automatic weapons, right? Carrying her. She's struggling to get out, taking her to fucking Gaza. And her family, let me even Google her name. Is she part of those that died?
She's been released.
She just got out?
She just got out. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, like, yeah, I just don't understand like how we're not all on the same page with this.
Nelson, what I don't understand is like, where's this going? Like all this gaslighting, denial, they're freedom fighters, they deserved October 7th was coming, like all of that kind of inflammatory bullshit, which it's bullshit because rape, murder, beheading of children and innocent civilians on both sides is unproductive. But what I just don't understand is like these pro-Palestinian, what I'd like to understand, pro-Palestinians, I want you to answer one question for me. River to the sea, we shall be free. Are you going to be free? Israelis and Jews, let's go. We're out. We're done. We're going to go. We're all going to Costa Rica. We're going to start all over again. We're smart as fuck. We're going to start. Goodbye. Thanks. Here you go. We're going to take our nuclear missiles with us and all our, our military installations. We're going to take them, but you take everything here. River to the sea. You take it. Only one solution. Intifada, revolution. Here you go. Are you at peace? Like because you're still under Hamas. Are you peaceful people? Is this like what is that your goal? Because you don't want the Jews, you want to murder all of us, right? River to the sea, you want to run us into the sea, and you want everybody to be under Islam. Is that your perception of peace? I'm just curious.
Sammy, speak
That's
on
not
it.
true.
Yes, yes.
So with what she said, that's not true. Listen, I'm Palestinian. My family tree goes back 200
Who's
years.
speaking right now?
In Palestine.
Who's speaking right now?
Dumbass
Sammy's
Sammy. Sammy,
appointments.
what
Wait,
part
wait,
of what I
one
said
second,
was
Babs.
untrue?
One second,
It was a question.
one second,
It was a
one
question.
second. Who's speaking?
Sammy B.
Oh,
Sammy,
it's still you. Oh, okay.
dummy boy, yeah,
It
dummy.
sounded like your dad or something. It was a different voice. I was curious. Go ahead.
So Palestinians want to. So when you say from the river to the sea, Palestinians want to be free. That doesn't mean Israelis and Jewish people have to leave the land. Under no circumstance is that what that means. Palestinian people just want to be equal citizens amongst Israelis or Jews and anyone really in the land. And I don't think that's too much to ask for. You know, from
Mm,
that whole plot of land, the Palestinians are like third class citizens.
mm.
They don't have a right to infrastructure. They don't have economies. I mean, it's a concentration camp. And
It
that video
is.
you posted, Nelson,
Mhm.
it's sad. It is. And it's barbaric and it's disgusting.
Well, thank
No
you for joining
woman,
the show.
no
Um,
woman should be grabbed like that by seven
No,
men.
they shouldn't. Sammy, I got another question because I'm completely confused. Because you do have your land. You did all the Jews left Gaza. You have your territory. You have your land. No, you have no infrastructure. Most people are living in poverty. But there were billions of dollars sent to your government every year, $2 billion, and you have billionaire leaders. But you're the logic is escaping me of like, wait, but and isn't it everybody has to be under Islam rule? Everybody has to be under your like
No
you
compulsion.
can I stay Jewish? Can I stay Jewish underneath your
Absolutely,
Hamas?
absolutely.
Okay. And
And
you
let
think
me answer
Hamas
that.
is the correct leadership because they've
No,
done such an
no.
amazing job in
n-
Gaza? Tell me more. Tell me. Keep
Sure,
talking.
sure. So what Islamic beliefs say, what Hamas and all these guys believe is they don't. First of all, your misconception on everyone needs to be Muslim or you can't live there. That's not true. How Islamic states are is if you're not a Muslim, you pay a tax. Now that's equaled out because Muslims have to pay a tax every year as well. So an Islamic state does not mean only Muslims live in that
Oh, wait.
state. That's not what that means at all. So what it means is if you're not Muslim and you live in an Islamic state, you pay a tax and Muslims have to pay a yearly tax. It's called zakat. So either way, it's equal. They both have to pay taxes, and that's how that works. So you don't have to be Muslim to live in an Islamic state.
Real quick,
Sammy, just a second, Nelson.
guys,
Sammy,
guys. I'm trying to moderate, please. Thank you. Sammy, that's the you got two people speaking from your microphone. That's not you. I know your voice. Okay. So the gentleman speaking right now, could you just introduce yourself for the audience, just so we know who we're speaking to?
Yeah, this is Billy Bean. I've been in your chats multiple times.
Okay, I
I don't know
appreciate you
if
for
you
jumping
remember
in.
me.
Are you and Sammy like lovers or some shit? Palestinian lovers?
Me and Sam are good friends. We went to school together.
Okay.
I'm
No
Palestinian.
fellatio going on, right?
Sam is not Palestinian. Say
No
that again.
fellatio going on.
No, no, no,
Cool,
no.
cool, cool.
That's
Well, that's
Okay.
Not in
I'm
Gaza.
just, I'm
Not
just
in
trying,
Gaza.
I'm just
There
trying to
isn't.
make sure. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Appreciate you. Oh, by the way, guys, real quick, right? So about an hour ago, like an hour and a half ago, somebody DM'd me like a random account, and they're like, "We're just in a space right now, and Grok named you one of the best X Spaces hosts." Something about I had 25,000 people in the space and it was off the chain, blah, 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 blah. So I thought it was bullshit, right? I was like, okay, whatever, random DM, whatever. Now, this lady, Lori, she just tweeted at me and I just pinned it at the top of the space. She's like, Nelson, I forgot to DM you. Alex Finn at NFT underscore God had a space earlier today about X and Grok, and Grok named you as one of the best X Spaces hosts. That's crazy. Shout out to AI. AI understands. All right, now y'all give that to Suleiman. Tell him I said to go kiss my ass. All right. I think that's super cool, by the way, man. Grok is feeling me, dog. I just pinned it up top, by the way. But yeah, I thought that was super cool. So just wanted to throw that in there, lighten the mood up a little bit, with Sammy's dumbass. But that being said, Ladies and gentlemen, this is a debate space, right? I'm trying as best as I can to make sure that we try to balance this thing up. We've got a time limit for every speaker that is to speak on this stage today. It is 2 minutes a pop, and I'm rotating the stage ever so frequently, bringing up new people, et cetera, right? So for those of you guys in the audience that want to get on stage, you want to debate your points, you hear some bullshit, you want to get up and call it out because whoever's representing your side on stage doesn't do a good job at it, hit the request button to come up. I'm going to be rotating. Guys, if you're on stage and I do not see your hands raised, I'm literally going to be rotating you down. I'm just going to assume you don't have anything to say. So Amir, George, Susan, Mariah, I do not see your hands right now. So again, if you're on stage, make sure you keep that hand up, or I'm just going to think you don't want to say anything else, and I'm just going to rotate you. Okay. But that being said, I really want to go to Susan. Susan, I really want to go to you right now because, again, we're having a conversation earlier today. And, I think,
Nelson, you forgot about me
my
completely.
brother, you already had a chance to speak, man. Susan hasn't spoken.
It's important that
You need,
no, that lady's clip. The
brother,
lady's clip is very
brother,
important for
brother,
me. Please.
you got 2 minutes. Go.
Okay. See, I have a dissenting voice. Okay. It's important for you to understand that not everybody has the same opinion as Sammy or the other guy. I do not conform to that clip. What they are doing, that is ISIS tactic, and that is Mossad, CIA, MI6 production, ISIS, which they created, which they trained, and which they implemented. These kind of things are totally exception to our culture and Islamic values and the war fighting. What we have seen from Islamic armies so far in my lifetime, I have never seen such thing. It's not allowed. Nobody does it. So if Hamas is doing that, if that clip really is coming from Hamas, everybody should condemn it. That we would not endorse any. This is not resistance. Okay, this is not legitimate resistance, and it should be noted, Nelson. Not everybody goes along with this kind of nonsense. We support legitimate resistance of occupied people against the occupier, not picking up women and children or shooting, killing them, or abusing them like that. That is not allowed in any struggle. Thank you.
Appreciate you, my brother. Real quick, Sammy, I'm going to give you a chance to respond to that before I go ahead and toss this to Susan. You have 60 seconds. Go.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. It is unacceptable, but he is also missing a key part, and that is the value of what they're doing it. They're not doing it, and like he said, who knows if that's Hamas or not? If it is, like I said, I do condemn it. It is disgusting. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to get hostages to have some value so they can trade for their prisoners. That's the basis of it. Now, if you look under Islamic law, you cannot attack women or children. All of these things are forbidden against the religion of Islam. So if there was like an Islamic angel came down from the heavens, he would smite Hamas for what they did to killing women and children. That is unacceptable in any means. So that
before I get my head chopped off by anyone here, that A, I'm not Muslim, B, I'm not Arab, okay? C, that's number one. Number two, somebody mentioned here that after 2005, Gaza wasn't under, occupation. So my question is, why was it then that they weren't allowed to export goods from Gaza? This is just a question. Nobody jump on me. I just really want to know because I'm not too familiar with the zone. Why weren't they allowed to export goods from Gaza and therefore have the highest unemployment rate in some cases, like 40%, which was like the highest worldwide or second highest worldwide in terms of unemployment. So if someone could just, answer that for
I've,
me,
I've
that would
got
be
a
great.
I've got a 10-second answer for you. I've got an answer for you.
Let me
Guys,
answer
guys,
that.
guys,
Let
guys,
me
guys, guys. One mic, one mic. That was a minute. Susan, were you done?
I'm done, sir.
Okay,
Thank
let's
you.
go. Yehuda, 2 minutes. Let's go.
Thank you. All right, it's a very good question. It would be a good question if it was true.
So this is a big lie that keeps getting repeated over and over and over again in the less than qualified channels, not Nelson spaces, but other spaces. I can't remember what they're called because I can't remember the guy's name. Anyways, I think he was a king of Israel, Solomon. Anyway, listen, Susan, I don't know, it's tough to stand on a side and go, "Well, I only care about the children." If anyone cares about children, you should hate Hamas and demand they unconditionally surrender. Full stop. Period. There's no other debate here. Israel's not going away. It's not going to stop what it's doing. To answer your question about 2005, 2007, Gaza had all the opportunity in the world. All right, here are some big lies. They wouldn't let them export it. What are you talking about? Who said that? Where did you read that? What are your sources? If there's anything within a trade agreement, it's one thing, right? There are all sorts of trade agreements that Israel has, Palestinian Authority has. The other big lie is they had a blockade. Not true. They weren't allowed an airport. Not true. They weren't allowed a seaport. Not true. In fact, Bill Clinton opened the goddamn airport, international airport in Gaza. He opened it. Trade was available, ready to go. Everything was ready. Hamas overthrew the Palestinian Authority 2 years later, said they wanted to kill all the Jews as part of their charter, so Israel blockaded along with Egypt. Now, here's a simple answer. The only question you should be asking is, how did Hamas come to power? If you're really concerned about Gaza, you should ask yourself why, when given the opportunity to have an independent Gaza that could flourish, as everyone keeps saying, like the Singapore of the Middle East, yada yada yada, why did it fail? That is a question for Palestinians. That is a question for the people of Gaza. You know who it's not a question for? It's not a question for Israel. Israel gave the opportunity, it unilaterally withdrew. In fact, what's that, 2 minutes? All right.
There we go.
Can't
There
talk.
we go. Shout
There we
out to
go.
the timer.
Hey,
Yo,
hey,
yo,
Nelson, let
Huda,
me
real
add
quick.
something real quick in
So
30
real quick,
seconds.
right? When I opened the space, I told him I was going to keep it, fair. And I asked the audience to let me know how long should each speaker have. They said 2 minutes. So we're going with 2 minutes. Susan,
Fair
you have
enough.
a chance to respond. 2 minutes starts now.
I don't have a response because I feel like if I respond, like, you know what it is? People have their point of views. Like, it's always like Yehuda's kind of like to the far right. He, no matter what, he's always going to be like bounce. Like, he'll never
Susan,
accept.
real quick, right? So
Okay, so I'm
here's
real
what I'm
quicking
thinking.
it. Like, there've been
Wait. Just wait,
atrocities
just
on
wait,
both
just wait, just
sides.
wait.
No,
Let me tell you
what?
let me tell you the way I see these
Okay.
things, right? These conversations with both sides. It presents an opportunity to learn from a much wider perspective, as opposed to the narrow perspective that we have in our heads, right? So don't think of it as, oh, somebody's going to jump in and bash you or whatever the case may be. Think of it as, okay, I don't know that much on this one thing. I've heard one perspective on this one thing. Now let me hear the other perspective. Look at it as like that, right? Because that's the way I look at it, right? Like, I mean, 50 plus days ago, not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't know a goddamn thing about the whole Israel Palestine history, right? But doing these spaces every single night, just hearing all you guys jump in on both sides, right? It's giving me a much wider perspective on this whole entire situation, enough for me to make a conscious decision on each talking point for myself, as opposed to somebody giving me the information one way or the other way, right? I'm able to hear all sides and decide for myself where I want to align on each talking point. Like, look at these debates as like that, as opposed to, oh, I'm going to say this and they're going to shut me down. Don't look at it like that. And I think that's the problem a lot of people, that's the mistake a lot of people make. So jump in, respond to them, tell them how you feel, and we can keep the conversation flowing, right? Think of it as an informative learning experience, right? As well as an entertaining experience.
I don't have a response. I just know that and obviously we can't go back in time, but when the British mandate had manifested in, at that time in 47, there should have been some sort of, you know, um, equal implementation by a third party. Like, someone had to be like, okay, these are the rules of the land before we take off, type of thing. And since, I mean, that's just sort of on a granular level before they took off, and now it's just been a huge conundrum on both sides. And I just like I don't have an answer. Like, I don't think anyone in the room has an answer, right? I mean, who, like, if they did, the problem would be solved like in 5 minutes. Like, nobody has an answer, right? So we're all just praying for peace at this point. But that's really all I had to say. You can drop me. Thanks.
It's all good. Stay on stage. Who wants to respond?
I'd like to
Hey
respond.
Nelson, hey Nelson,
I like to
what's that?
directly respond.
Yehuda, hold on. Yehuda, hold on a sec.
George, it's a flow, George. I just want to. Okay,
No,
I want to. This is important, George.
All right, let's go, Yehuda.
Okay.
2 minutes starts now.
Go ahead.
Okay, stop. So it's important to address what just happened. The individuals, I gave a fact. It wasn't my opinion. It's not debatable. You can. These are all easily verifiable within 10-second search. Everything I just said. Gaza airport. Just Google it. Clinton opens Gaza airport. Google it. Right? Airport, seaport, trade. All of this stuff is verifiable. So when the responses are given in factually, often the other side says, "Well, it's your opinion," and then you're going to jump on me, and it's not. It is true. It's not my opinion. It is a fact. And if just summarily going through your profile, I saw a lot of things that didn't make any sense. You make some pretty outrageous comments about Israelis and Jews. You blame Jews for the Armenian genocide. I would argue.
No, I don't blame, sir.
Hold on.
Wait,
No.
don't throw that
One second,
there.
Susan. Susan,
don't
don't eat
blame.
it. Don't eat into his time.
Stop.
That's
Yeah,
outrageous.
that's my
I
time.
do.
That's my time.
70 seconds left. Let's go.
Okay.
You can't just throw that out there.
Susan, you can't take out of his time. Come on, please go with the flow. Yehuda, 60 seconds.
Right. Oh boy, taking my time. All right. So listen. So not only that though, and the simple fact that she ignores it, doesn't understand basic history. She just said, if only there was a third party that said that you should have two states and the Jews and the Arabs should make a state. There was a third party, the League of Nations, the United Nations. They literally were the third party that said, go make your state, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't even know the basic history. The one thing you just said you wish they had, they did have. There's nothing in you. Frankly, your knowledge on the situation is minimal, very, very minimal. Thank you.
All right, Susan,
You're always okay. First of all, I just want to. It wasn't the 1915 genocide I was referencing. It was the fact that, and this is a fact, sir, that Israel sent, Azerbaijan military equipment, 69% of all the military equipment in September 2020 to basically, to Azerbaijan for them to, do an ethnic cleanse in Artsakh. That's a fact. Like, that's a fact. It's not like it's something that I'm just creating out of my head. So so I do have issue with that. I mean, that's just what it is. Number two, with respect to, I just lost my number two because I'm just so like behooved by all this. Like, number two, I just, um, why wasn't it in the 90s, like during the Oslo Accords, when they were sitting here trying to pen a peaceful deal? Like, why was the prime minister there, that gentleman Yitzhak Rabin, like, who assassinated him, sir? Who is that? Was it a Palestinian? I mean, like, you paint it like it's like, oh, we tried this, we tried that, but I mean, you never acknowledge that perhaps at times, like, your government has like not has fallen out of line, right? I'm not completely oblivious to what's going on. Now, I haven't paid attention to the environment or like that side of the world, because truth be told, I don't really come from there, but it does impact me because we do hold a quarter there, like a Jerusalem quarter, which has also been up in the air in terms of like the section, because and I don't blame Israel for this, because a priest like sold the land to, like, to Israeli developers. So that has nothing to do with like Israel. But I mean, we do have parts of Israel that we've been living in those spaces for centuries too. And it's like, and that those lands have been in question as well. So I mean, like, don't sit here and tell me, listen, some of my bestest friends in the entire world are Jewish, okay? But that doesn't mean I'm okay with some of the Israeli foreign policies that are being adopted. I'm sorry if you have a problem with that, sir.
You're right.
Let's go. 2 minutes, Yehuda.
Yeah, so I don't know what that was. No offense. You're right. You're not completely oblivious, but you're mostly oblivious. You just started with the genocide comment. By the way, Israel went to Armenia first and asked them to buy their weapons. Armenia said no. Israel sold weapons to Azerbaijan, which is an ally against Iran. There is no conspiracy against Armenia. Thomas Tyner, world-class expert in this, broke this down quite a few months ago. It's a non-starter, blaming Israel for Azerbaijan's actions because they sold them weapons at some point in history is ridiculous. I'm not sure what the point about Yitzhak Rabin being assassinated by a radical Jew, a guy who represents a small minority in Israel, and he actually killed the peace-loving prime minister who was then succeeded by another peace-loving prime minister. It doesn't prove your point. It actually proves it goes against your point. I don't sure why you're mentioning the Armenian quarter. You don't have an Armenia, the country, doesn't own anything in Israel. Armenian Church owns property in the Armenian quarter. Obviously, I really, really wish the audience. I'm sure they could hear us. You haven't addressed any of the points. You've made accusations about Israel. You've said that they've boxed in
Yehuda,
the
you just
Gazans.
dismissed our
Please stop
quarter right there.
interrupting.
You just dismissed our
Please,
quarter.
I
So
can't.
anyway,
What's the 2-minute rule here? So you've
what?
made comments. You've made comments that make no sense. You want to paint Israel to be some horrible aggressor, limiting Palestinians in Gaza. We gave you an example: 2005, 2007. You should be asking yourselves why they didn't take the opportunity, why they failed in that opportunity in 2005. They failed in that opportunity in 2007, in 2000, in 96. In what, 1967, in 1948. It's a history of failed opportunities. Okay, so you could blame anyone. I guess if you want to blame Israel, it makes you feel better, great. But guess what? You can't fix the problem if you don't accept what the problem is in the first place. Thank you.
Oh, boom. Okay, Susan, do you want a chance?
So, sir, yeah. So basically, what you're saying, Yehuda, is that based on your whatever, that like Israel does no wrong, like their government does no wrong, and everything in terms of implementation, military strategy, whatever, everything that they do is 100% kosher. It's like it's okay, right? Like they do no wrong. That's pretty much what you're saying to
I'm
me.
not going to speak. I'll wait for you to be done.
Well, no, because I mean that's the position that you're taking. Like, I mean, and the other thing that just is like gobsmacking to me is like, okay, well, Israel offered it to, Armenia first. Okay, fine, but I mean, you knew that they generally knew what it was for. I mean, why would you? It's like, and I've said this before to other people. It's like Hitler knocking on my door and saying, "Listen, I'll give you $1 billion for gas chambers." Like, do you think I would take a dime? Like, knowing what his mindset was from the get-go, like that's just a delusional point that you're making, sir, really.
Yeah. Delusional is the fact that you just equated someone selling Hitler gas chambers to the Israelis selling drones to Azerbaijan. Drones
Oh, it's
and
not
guns.
delusional. It's
It's very no. I'm done. You
they
finished. You
sold to me.
finish. You finish. You just
I quite
equated
like
is
to talk on the Azerbaijani
And
point
white
when there's a
you're
moment.
phosphorus.
you're actually embarrassing yourself. I think you're gonna wish you never said that.
No, you're
Thank you very
you're
much.
embarrassing yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. All right. There we go. There we go. Okay. I want to toss this to Piotr. Piotr, 2 minutes. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, look, I mean, I was entertaining both because I like to be, I don't know, open-minded, but that last comparison was a little bit. So the Armenian genocide was perpetrated by the Turks. It's largely recognized in the international system, bar a few nations that don't want to be on the wrong side of Turkey. But I have to admit that Yehuda is largely correct in that simply the Israelis were going to give the weapons to Armenia after, well, what happened in the past 50 years, and they didn't. So the Azerbaijanis took them, and that's basically what kicked off the massive militarization that the Azerbaijanis did. They've been the most militarized country in the Caucasus by a long way. And they've actually been the fastest growing economy for like 14 years between 2014 and 2000 because of the oil reserves and energy and stuff. And that was only partially because of the relationship they developed with the Israelis. So, yeah, I have to push back on that. But otherwise, yeah, I think we're sort of losing the forest for the trees a little bit. The IDF doesn't necessarily do the best things sometimes, but ultimately, and that's why I thought Sammy's comments were a little bit daft, in that, yeah, obviously there was still tension and civil unrest and problems between Palestine, West Bank specifically, and Israel. But in the context of Gaza and Israel in 2021 to 23, it was actually some of the least volatile that we've seen. Again, you have to put it relative to, say, Britain, which is not exactly a volatile hotbed. So that was what I was trying to say. It's not so much that things don't happen, but the events that have led to the past 2 months have largely come because the Hamas entity decided to enact on it, much like Russia did with the Ukraine.
My brother, 100%, 100%. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think let me throw some talking points in there, right, for you guys to actually debate. Okay, and I think the biggest one for me right now, matter of fact, let me just gauge from the audience. This word genocide, right? This yeah, listen, I have a number of talking points that I think we can rock with for the next couple of hours. So let me pick the most popular talking points. Genocide is a big one, right? Do you think Israel is committing genocide in Gaza? That's a question to everybody in the space right now, and I need everybody in the space to answer that question. Hit the chat feature at the bottom right corner of the space. Respond to the tweet of this space with a yes, genocide, no, genocide. Drop it in the chat right now. I want to see everybody's comments right now. Let's go. Everybody in the space, stage, audience, etc., etc. Drop your comments in the chat right now. For those of you guys that have your hands up, you're requesting to get on stage, I'm going to see what your answers are in order for me to bring you up and sort of balance the stage, right? So once again, yes, genocide or no genocide, drop it in a chat right now. Pally for life, request to speak right now. Pally for life, request to speak right now. I'm going to bring you up. But that being said, let me go to Sammy real quick. Sammy, my brother, or Billy Bean, or whoever the
Yeah,
hell I'm speaking to.
Sam.
Okay. So
Uh,
who is this? Is this Billy?
no, it's Sam.
What?
It's your boy,
Where's Billy?
your
What
favorite.
happened?
Oh, I was just having him speak for a little bit. He's my Palestinian boy. He always is listening
Oh,
in.
you guys are
But
done with your fellatio?
no comment.
I think they switched out. That's why they
Y'all
had to
switch.
change speakers.
Tell Billy to bring his profile in here. Let me bring him up on stage, all right? Just
All right, I
whisper in
will.
his ear real quick. You know what I'm saying? You guys like to do that. Okay, so Sammy, my brother, is Israel committing a genocide in Gaza? Yes or no?
Israel has explicitly admitted that
Yes
it's
or no?
attempting. It's attempting. It's like not. It's not murder. It's attempted murder. It's attempted genocide at this moment. And if
Attempted
we allow
genocide.
that,
Is that a thing?
yes, it's in the Geneva
Oh,
Conventions.
for real?
That yes, it
Okay,
is.
cool. All right, you
So
have 2 minutes to talk about it now.
yeah, well, what Israel is doing is an attempted genocide in a very explicitly. Their goal is more so ethnic cleansing than it is genocide. They want to drive the Gazans to Egypt so that they can annex the territory of Gaza and build settlements on the Gazan territories. So it's more of an ethnic cleansing than it is a genocide, but it is an attempted genocide for sure. And if we allow them to continue, you know, it's going to evolve into a genocide. I mean, I guess we'll have to see what happens. Um, and I guess I would like to say that, with regards after October 7th, since October 7th has happened, there have been multiple military altercations between Palestinian resistance soldiers and the Israeli army. I would love for someone to say whether or not they consider, the Palestinian resistance fighting the Israeli army in Gaza, fighting against tanks, blowing up tanks, and that sort of thing, whether they consider that terrorist or whether they consider that military operation, whether they consider that genocidal against the Jews, or whether they consider it just legitimate military operations against those tanks that are in Gaza at the moment. But yes, it is definitely an attempted genocide, and Israel's goal is stated to ethnically cleanse Gaza so that they can annex that territory.
Copy that. Copy
Yeah,
that.
I really need to
Okay.
clarify some legal terms
Let,
here.
let me tag George
Good
in.
message,
Let me
Sam.
tag George in. George been waiting. George, you want to go after him, bro? Or you want somebody else to do it?
I want
Let's
to
go. 2 minutes.
All right. In the Geneva Convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy. So you have to show that there is an intent to destroy, killing members of a group, causing bodily harm, deliberately afflicting a group conditions of life, etc., imposing measures intended to prevent births, forcibly transferring children. The whole purpose is to show intent to destroy a group in whole or in part. Genocide, or Article 3 of that, also talks about genocide or conspiracy to commit genocide or attempt to commit genocide are all punishable. So, Israel has shown absolutely no intent to genocide Arabs, Palestinians, or Muslims. Israel has a 20% Arab population. It has an 18.5% Muslim population. Israel set up Gaza and left it. Israel just helped evacuate 1 million Gazans, 1 million Palestinians, most of whom are Muslim, most of whom are Arab. So Israel has zero intent. Israel is prosecuting a war. Hamas, however, has an official charter that they had for a very long time that says they want to murder all Jews. Hamas then slightly amended the charter, but then went public and had their political director say, we want all Muslims worldwide to go and attack and murder all Jews. Hamas just perpetrated a massacre which was focused on Jews. By the way, there were 846 of the 1,200 people were civilians. That is reported in the New York Times. We have the citations. The fact that is in 1948, the official goal of the six Arab armies was the genocide of Jews. It was a failed genocide. And the Holocaust, by the way, was unfortunately a successful genocide. Meanwhile, this war right now is not a genocide. It's just a war.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, Sammy, you get a chance to respond. 2 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to, what one of the biggest parts of why uh, the German Nazi genocide was successful was actually something called the Havara Agreement, in which Hitler made deals with the Zionists to help him achieve his goal of getting Jews out of Europe by where relocating them to Palestine. Uh, you can say that it's not a genocide because there's no intent to commit it. Literally, there are just countless Israeli politicians that have just gone up and said, every Palestinian children in Gaza are going to be terrorists when they grow up, so we have to kill them as well. You know, you can say, okay, so there are Arabs living in Israel, so that means they don't want to commit genocide. Their goal is to eliminate the idea of the Palestinian nationality and identity, not the Arab identity, the Palestinian nationality and identity. We just had a guy on the stage say that the Palestinian identity didn't begin until 1967. Palestinian identity has over a 4,000-year-old history, and that dude who was on the stage represents what Israelis think. They want to erase the Palestinian identity. They think it's not a real identity that has only been around since 1967, and it's blatantly genocidal. I mean, so there is intent to commit genocide. I mean, it's not going to happen. There will be no genocide. Palestine will be victorious, and they will not allow the Israelis to genocide them. Thank you.
Yep.
I got to
There we
respond real
All
go.
right,
quick.
Let's do it.
All right.
Are we doing
So
some back
listen,
and
I
forth?
have never in my life heard such a pile of nonsense, racist BS, even from Sammy. Sammy said that the reason why the Holocaust and genocide was so effective was because of the Havara Agreement. Shame on you. You're not even worth addressing, but I'll address the audience. The Havara Agreement was in action from 1933 to 1939. Had nothing to do with the Holocaust, you ding dong. 1933, Jews were being blackmailed to leave Germany. The Germans said you couldn't leave without giving us everything you got. And if you give us everything you got, we'll let you use part of that money to buy stuff from us. So it was a racket. It was a shakedown. It allowed 60,000 German Jews to escape Germany before the Holocaust. Anyone who's stupid enough and what a disgrace! What a shame! Like, I mean, shame on his family for what he's saying. Disgusting lie. Anyone can check it out. The Havara Agreement was a plot to get Jews out of death's way, and they were allowed to leave Germany. Many went to mandatory Palestine to reestablish the Jewish state. There is not 4,000 years of Palestinian history in the Holy Land. The Arabs of mandatory Palestine come from mostly surrounding countries, especially Egypt after the Civil War. The population of mandatory Palestine, if you can count the Ottoman provinces, was around 200,000 at the end of the 1800s. 400,000 more came in the next 50 years. Before then, it was the Kingdom of Israel and the Kingdom of Judea. The Philistines were a small pentapolis, 5 city-states on the west coast. They were from Greece. They're not the ancestors of the current day Palestinians. It doesn't mean Palestinians don't deserve a state. It doesn't mean that they're not a people today, but they certainly weren't the people that inhabited my ancestors' country for thousands of years. You need to get your facts straight, stop believing in nonsense. You still are entitled to a state because in 64, you made the PLO, you called it a state. That's fine. We don't argue that. You're welcome and you're going to have a state. But if you keep having these ridiculous fantasies of genocide and, you're not going to get anywhere, bud. We're trying to help you. Help us, help you. Thanks.
Boom. There we go. There we go. Now I need the other side. Let me go to Afzal. Afzal, genocide, 2 minutes. After you, I'm going to stealth. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this narration of Yehuda is extraordinary. Really, I'm very, very shocked. And Sammy, if you are misrepresenting the history, that is really, I mean, I have no words for that, man. We should not be distorting the facts because it doesn't help our narrative. It really brings the credibility down, and for me, credibility is everything. Palestinian cause is based on truth. It is a righteous cause. It does not need any intermingling of hearsay. Enough said. This is Nelson. In my opinion, it's ethnic cleansing, and the actions of IDF really prove. They first tell them to go south, and then they bomb south, and then they can tell them to go to cross over to Egypt. Then Egypt threatens them that we will bomb them. So basically, it's an attempt to uproot a population, destabilize their living in Gaza. And the bombing pattern you see, they are really demolishing. It's like a demolition process going on underway. The way they are giving advance notices to the population evacuate so that they can probably minimize the killing, because they are more interested in the real estate. Opportunities for you, Nelson, in the future, go and develop something over there too. So that to me is really ethnic cleansing. It's driving out a population from their native land, and it's very sad, and we should not accept this. We should keep the pressure from general public, people of the world, social media, and they are feeling the heat, as the IDF press conference today again proved. They even gave me the mic, Nelson. That tells you they are hearing our voices, and we should not back down. We should keep up. Thank you.
Boom. There we go. Stealth. Stealth, before you jump in, just to give you guys an alert on stage, I need to bring up one more pro-Palestinian speaker. So I'm definitely going to be dropping somebody on the stage within the next 5 minutes. So just giving you guys a heads up. Stealth, please jump in.
Just one thing, giving you a little intel update, and just to hear what people say about this. The Israelis went after a terrorist today. They had to go in on foot. They could not do a targeted precision attack on the building because he had locked Palestinian civilians inside the apartments with chains. Hamas did, and they'd been in there for days. So first went in an advanced forces unit and then went in search and rescue. Unfortunately, the apartment was booby trapped where the terrorist was, and an IED went off. They got him, but unfortunately, some of our soldiers died. But before that, there's footage of them having sealed families inside.
Is he breaking up for you guys, or is it just me?
She's breaking up, bro.
She's breaking up. Yeah.
Stealth.
I would like to provide a legal definition of what we're actually talking about in the meantime.
Let's give it a second. Okay, we'll come back to her. Piotr, let's do it. 1 minute though.
Just I find it a bit frustrating because we throw around these terms and it's like, so far I thought George was good for providing an actual legal definition. So right. In the UN, there are a few different terms. There are war crimes. There are crimes against humanity. There's the third one, which is not as well known, called crimes of aggression. And then there's the fourth one.
Oh, Stealth, we lost you. We lost you there for like a good 30, 40 seconds.
Can I summarize and then I'll go back to stealth? So basically there's 4 types. Genocide is the fourth one. It's the one we all talk about. Ethnic cleansing has never been recognized under international law. The term itself is only like 30 years old. So when Sammy says that it can go from ethnic cleansing to genocide, this isn't like some kind of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. It's a very unlinear a linear thing. The most defined ethnic cleansing is in report 25274 from 1994, which is as quote, rendering an area ethnically homogeneous by using force or intimidation to remove persons of given groups from the area. Make of that what you will. There was another report that called it a quote, purposeful policy designed by one ethnic or religious group to remove by violent and terrorist inspiring means the civilian population of another ethnic or religious group from certain geographical areas. So that terrorist inspiring comment there coming into play there in this context, and it has a lot to do with ethnic nationalism. But anyway, make of that what you will. I'll pass you over to Stealth.
Boom. Stealth. Let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah, just earlier, the IDF was targeting a terrorist in a building. I don't know if you heard that part. And they had to go in on foot because they had locked Palestinian civilians. They, meaning Hamas, had locked Palestinian civilians inside their apartments. There was many families locked in with chains. That video is going to come out very soon. There was unfortunately an IED, and Israeli soldiers died along with the terrorist. But some of that footage of them fighting from the outside was earlier seen this morning. So this is just another example of how Hamas will usually actually use civilians, family members, lock them in with chains into their apartments so they can't leave, so they can protect Hamas terrorists. Thank you.
Very interesting. Omar, need you to respond to that. 2 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll try to address that while also stating my opinion on the question that was posed. When it comes to genocidal intent,
I can't hear Omar if he's speaking, Nelson. So
can you hear me, Stealth?
Yeah, Stealth is probably your end. It's probably your end, Stealth,
We
because
can.
you probably lost signal.
I can drop down and I can come back.
Okay. I'll bring you back up. Omar, go ahead, though.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Yeah,
20
so
seconds gone. Let's go.
all right, as I was saying, with genocidal intent, we see everyone so quick to cite Hamas officials and the charter of Hamas, which it's all fine and to do. You have the right to do so, but at the same time, you cannot just ignore statements by Israeli officials, and even sometimes the old Likud charter, which said between the river and the sea, only Israeli sovereignty. I'm butchering it. It's not exactly that quote, but when I ask a lot of Palestinians what from the river to the sea means to them it doesn't mean genocidal intent. It doesn't mean pushing the Jews into the sea. To them it means freeing the Palestinian people between the river and the sea, freeing them from occupation, from indiscriminate killings, from their basic human rights that they have not been afforded to them by anybody. That's what it means to them, and that's what makes it different from what you're hearing on stage when it comes to the talks of the river to the sea. This is something I've only been hearing from the Palestinian community. Yes, there's going to be radicals, groups, radical elements among the group in every type of, in any type of demographic that you may ask. But I don't think what Hamas did is representative of the Palestinian movement. I think what they're asking for and what they're pleading to the world is basic human rights and to live a dignified life like everyone deserves. And I think a Palestinian state is the only way to accomplish that.
Appreciate you, my
Nelson,
brother.
Billy Bean
Real
did
quick.
request to
What,
hop up, just so you know.
Billy? Okay, cool. This term from the river to the sea, I want us to have a conversation about that real quick, right? Because I tell you what it sounds like to me, and then I guess I can bounce it off of the speakers we have on stage. When I hear the term from the river to the sea by a pro-Palestinian, right? In my mind, they're essentially saying wipe Israel out, the name Israel, the idea Israel from the face of the earth. Replace it with the idea of a Palestinian state where Palestinians rule, make all the rules. Israelis are second-class citizen if they choose to stay. And just Palestine just run shit and Palestinians run shit. That's what I understand when I hear that term or that phrase from the river to the sea. Okay. Now I'm going to toss it to Sammy. Sammy, you have 30 seconds, and I'm going to go 30 seconds on everybody. Just quick popcorn. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying the space and the way we're running the space, please do me a favor. Hit the chat feature, bottom right corner of the space. Retweet. Everybody take a chance to retweet. Retweet doesn't cost you a thing, but it will help boost the numbers. So let's go ahead and do that right now for you guys in the audience that are enjoying the show. That being said, Sammy, 30 seconds. What the fuck does it mean?
You had the first half right that yes, it would no longer be called Israel, but you were wrong about the second part where Jewish people would be considered second class citizens. It would be a state with equal rights for all. Palestinians would probably be the demographic majority, so it would be called Palestine. But that doesn't mean that some group has to be second class citizens. Just
Are
want
you
to
going to
do a
move there,
quick
Sammy? Are you
apology.
going to move there? I'm just wondering. Should we get you? You're going to start
Uh,
packing
I
now?
would love to move to a free Palestine.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
very
Okay,
much.
you'll be the first on the flight. Good to know.
Can I just make a quick apology to Yehuda? He is correct that I misrepresented the Havara agreement. And I was just getting a little heated on that. But I still do stand by the belief that, Nazis and Zionists share the belief that Jews cannot live in society with non-Jews. But I do apologize for misrepresenting the Havara agreement.
There we go. Apology accepted, my brother. Okay. And you weren't even apologizing to me, man. Fuck it. Let me go to Kirk. Kirk, you've been on stage for a while, my brother. From the river to the sea, and I'll give you 60 seconds because you haven't spoken yet. What does that mean to you?
Listen, this when people wear Hamas, little scarves and wave terrorist flags and yell "freedom to the sea," just means from the river to the sea. Really, just means one thing, and it's getting rid of Jews, taking over by force. It's pretty obvious what Hamas is intending to do. It's pretty obvious what they've been intended to do before. When Hamas leaders, when their spokesmen go on news, go on channels, do video press conferences, and they say we want to eliminate the Jews, we want to kill all everyone there. There's only one side to the genocide that's wanting to commit genocide, and it's Hamas. And they also don't give a shit about what happened to the Palestinians. So if someone wants to commit genocide in the region, it's Hamas, and they don't care if they commit genocide on the Palestinians themselves, using them as shields, or do whatever they want.
My brother, appreciate you, man. Let me go to Robo Collar. 60 seconds. From the river to the sea.
Hey guys,
let's break it down.
Oh shoot, I don't give a shit about the river to the sea. I wanted to talk about genocide definitions.
Okay, then I got to circle back to you real quick. I got to moderate,
Okay.
my man. We got to ping pong. Okay, keeps the audience engaged, right, man. Shit. Omar,
I need to know. I need to know what a Hamas scarf is. By the way, I've never seen.
We gonna figure it out later. Yehuda, from the river to the sea, 30 seconds. What does it mean to you?
Sounds good. Min al-maya lil-maya, from the water to the water, was popularized by the PLO in the 60s. It meant the destruction of Israel completely, and the only Jews that would be allowed to remain were those 50 or 60,000 Jews predating the first Yishuv. So it definitely is a call for genocide. They knew that 500,000 Jews weren't going to disappear. And you're right, it didn't have to do with second-class citizens because they weren't going to be citizens at all. They weren't going to be alive. In fact, they would say throw them into the ocean as well. Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hamas all said that it means the eradication of Israel and the removal of all the Jews. So don't care what some of his friends say on the street. We know what the people who mean it say. Thanks.
My brother, for sure. Let's go to Afzal. Afzal, from the river to the sea, talk about it. You got 20 seconds.
You should let me speak always before Yehuda because he has something reasoning in his damn narrative. He just
15
influences
seconds.
me too much. Okay. Okay, from river to the sea, my understanding is not really a genocide. It's their aspiration that they have a state where everybody lives together, just like PLO is a multi-religious, multi-ethnic platform.
Time's up. Okay, cool. Appreciate you. Mariah, from the river to the sea, 20 seconds. What does it mean?
It means that Israel is not going to be existent. They want to kick all of us to the sea, basically. So it's called to genocide the whole entire Jewish people that's living right now in Israel.
Boom. There we go. Let's go to the Shah's man. The Shah's man, you haven't spoken today, so you got 60. From the river to the sea, let's talk about it.
Yeah, Nelson, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. You are the best space host here on X. Twitter,
90
100%.
seconds. Fuck it. Let's go.
Damn, I know how to play
Hey,
that.
Sean,
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna get a little upset with you. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Well. I mean, according to sources say no. Oh, damn! I didn't realize stuff.
It's
Anyway, I'm gonna
Stella.
get onto it.
It's okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna address that point. Yeah, I mean, you heard it here from Sammy himself, right, guys? Sammy himself said he wants to collect jizya. I was technically born a Muslim. According to a lot of governments out there, I am a Muslim, and I'm going to be punished by apostasy if I don't say that. But let's see. Any modern Muslim country collecting jizya right now? No, no, none of them. Guess what? Who did collect jizya? Taliban over in some Pakistan areas, as well as ISIS. So let's get a real straight real quick. Muslims were the major victims of these groups like Taliban, like ISIS. And what does Sammy say out here right now? Sammy said collecting jizya is his understanding of the future of the fate of the Jews, that he's not advocating to kill, apparently. He just wants to collect jizya out of them, just like Taliban, just like ISIS. Those are not Islamic governments, those are Islamist radicals. But since you gave me a couple extra 30 seconds out here, I'm just going to real quick, Nelson, if it's all right, I'm going to make a comparison based off of something that Sammy also said. Sammy was talking about military combatants, who's a good target or not. You know why they bring up that point? Because in the Israel, people are reservists sometime. They all got to do a mandatory service, and then after that, they're eligible to potentially be called up as a reservist. You know what here? I mean, I'm an American. Omar is an American. I'm pretty sure Sammy and his buddy are Americans. Nelson, you're an American. We all, regardless of our immigration status, are legally bound to sign up for selective service. All of us can be called up into the military, potentially. And Sammy's logic seems to say that anyone who considers themselves an enemy combatant of the USA can go around killing us because we're potential combatants under that logic. I'm gonna land that there.
Man, I gave you 2 minutes 30 seconds, man. That's shit. You deserve that shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Grok. Shout out to Grok. Real quick though, right? So the reason why I asked that question is because it's used a lot by pro-Palestinian speakers on social media. I came to find out about that that phrase on social media myself, from the river to the sea. Now, we've had, spaces in the past where, people come up and they're like, oh, it doesn't mean eradicating the Jewish people, et cetera, et cetera. But it was really interesting here to get the perspective from Jews themselves, right? I mean, look at how Yehuda described it. Look at how Mariah described it, right? Look at how the Jews on stage describe that term, right? They see it as a derogatory term calling for the extinction of their people, right? And if that's how Jews see it, why use it, regardless of whatever you think it means, right? The main thing is how it's perceived by those that it impacts, right? So I think, another step. I mean, and listen, that's just for you guys in here that want to get to some sort of peace or whatever the case may be. I think the first step is to stop using that goddamn term. If that's, where you're trying to get to. If not, then I mean, just keep rocking out, keep doing what you're doing, right? But it seems like it's a phrase that, enrages people on the Jewish side. I mean, so why fucking use it, right? It's like somebody calling me a Negro. You know what I'm saying? Black people in America use it frequently amongst one another. We all know this. But me personally, I take it a little bit personal if you call me a Negro, right? And if that's how I perceive the term, why would you use it against me, regardless of whatever you think about the term, right? Whether you're black, whether you're blue, whatever the fucking case may be. It's how I perceive it. That's what matters, right? So I just thought to throw it in there real quick, for anybody in here that is actually pursuing peace. If not, fuck it. Keep doing what you're doing. All right, let me go to Robo. Robo, giving you 2 minutes, my man. Let's talk about that genocide.
Yeah, 2 minutes. So I'd encourage everybody on the call who's interested in genocide to go to Genocide Watch's 10 Stages of Genocide and have a bit of a read of that and think about this subject for yourself. Go through those stages real quick. So it's not just about a definition, it's about getting under the hood and looking at what the elements and components are. Starts out with classification, that there are differences between people that are not respected. So there are obviously Jews and Palestinians or Israelis and Palestinians. And there is also symbolization. There's a whole other thing, discrimination. Clearly, the Palestinians are being discriminated against in a lot of different ways. Dehumanization. We heard a lot of dehumanizing rhetoric after this attack that was really widespread. Very clear statements across that even echoed through the United States. Organization. Well, clearly that's happened. Polarization. A lot of propaganda spread by different groups. You can go and look into those things yourselves. 2 minutes, I can't really cover everything, but this is a resource. You go make up your own mind. Preparation. Creating fear of the victim group sounds to me like there's been some pretty widespread use of fear as a tool, like a fear of Palestinians, a fear of what they can do that's being used to mobilize the Israeli population against the Palestinians. Persecution. I mean, this is where the ghettos are used. That's clear that the West Bank is, in fact, a large ghetto, in fact, a concentration camp. And then extermination is the ninth stage. We are clearly looking at the extermination of the Palestinians with a wide-scale bombing campaign that is, this is clearly extermination. There's no question about that. And then the last stage is stage 10, denial. So, and we're seeing a lot of that as well. So this is going to be something that you can argue this all you want. This is going to be something that that is going to be discussed in great detail as these events wind down.
0. Let's go. Let's go.
Is that my
So I'm
cue?
thinking, man,
My
should I let my brother, my attack dog, go, or should I let Kirk go? We got
you gotta
Yehuda, the
let me go.
attack
You
dog.
should let me go. You should let
Shit,
me go on
we
this
got
one.
George, man. George don't play. That's the
No,
IDF in the building. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
which one?
fine.
Which
I
one?
gotta answer that one.
We going Yehuda?
I say Yehuda.
All right, let's go.
Yeah,
2
Yehuda.
minutes now.
Okay. Wow.
Yo.
He started off nicely. Hey, I'm reasonable, everyone. I'm just here to talk about genocide. I got a website, totally not doctored, totally not suiting my narrative. And then I'm slowly going to start talking about things and say clearly everyone knows. And I'll say facts as if they're established and we all agree with it. So we kind of do this mental gymnastics, silly sophistry to get the audience to believe what I'm saying. First of all, they're not committing genocide. They're not calling for genocide. They're not bombing indiscriminately. If they wanted to, using this individual's logic, they would have bombed 2 million people to death within a few days. They're clearly not doing any of that. But if you say clearly and say it's on a website, you got to check it out, you're giving this false narrative to people and you're playing with their emotions and you're pretty much treating them like idiots. The actual thing you miss is the actualization, or you call it extermination. The only acts of genocide we've actually seen in the last 2 months is Hamas against Jews. So you could talk about all those bad feelings you're hearing, but you're missing the key point. The only genocide that happened in the last 2 months is that Hamas, a Palestinian faction, with wide support in Gaza apparently, committing genocide against Jews. You should give your head a shake. You don't make any sense. And anyone can go to your site and check it out. And everything you've said about Palestinians being victimized, you could actually say Jews are being victimized and they're being targeted around the world in rallies and protests, and they're actually experiencing genocide. So all of your examples don't pan out for your side, but they clearly pan out against Israel. You should honestly be slightly embarrassed. I don't even need 2 minutes for that. Assalamu alaikum.
Damn. Robo, you have 2 minutes to respond. Talk about it.
Right back at you. I don't need 2 minutes. Go read it for yourself. Go follow the events. Go make up your own mind.
Clearly.
There we go. Kirk, jump in. 2 minutes.
Thank you, thank you. Listen, to moral bankruptcy and to whataboutism and to complete misinformation being shared by the Hamas lovers here is absolutely astonishing. 2 minutes of actual Googling on, any of those talking points is just, they absolutely disappear. It's such a brainwashed support group over here. But let's just look at what's happening in Gaza, and the history of it. And people yell free, free Palestine. The only way Palestine will be free is if they get rid of Hamas, get rid of the terrorists, and get rid of that ideology of hate and having to go conquer other people by force, and have to start building a civilization and a society and join the rest of the world. I'll also say that the were Jews, and somehow it's completely being ignored, and somehow trying to capture it by the Palestinians crowd here as well. Um, and if you look at the Islamic world around, I'll just say this: if Israel wasn't even around, if it was 100% Palestine there with the Hamas leadership, the same people, there'll be a war over, and those people would have been massacred and taken over by another Islamic terrorist group one day or another. Happens all over the Middle East, and the biggest chance that the Palestinian people have is really for peace and prosperity is with Israel there and with economic cooperation. And this is something that the Gazans and the Palestinians will have to decide for themselves going forward. Do we want to have people like Hamas ruling us again and using us as human shields? Like, the Hamas leadership on record said they do not give a shit about the Palestinian people, about the Gazan people, and they're not responsible to them. So what kind of leadership is this? Thank you, my brother.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. For the rest of the speakers with your hands up, I'm gonna go quick. 60 seconds, 60 seconds, 60 seconds, because I want to pivot to something else, right? I want to pivot to another subtopic that I think we need to discuss and debate. It's another big buzzword. But real quick, Sammy, 60 seconds. Jump in. Let's go.
Yeah, just on the topic of genocide, I think that, from the river to the sea, at best, it's what I say it is. It's a one state with equal rights for all people. And then at worst, it's what, Yehuda thinks from the river to the sea is, which is what the Zionists did to Palestinians in 1948. So at worst, they're scared that what happens to Israelis is what they did in 1948. At best, it's what I say. It's one state with peace for all. And in terms of the definition of genocide, there's two definitions. There's one that everyone thinks genocide is just wiping people off the planet. That's what most people think genocide is. And then there's the official legal Geneva Convention definition of genocide. Article B of the Geneva Convention of Genocide says causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group is constitutes genocide, which means uh, every person in Gaza has constant traumatic stress disorder, not post traumatic. Constant traumatic.
Let's
So
go.
they
Let's
all have
go.
that.
Let's go. Okay. Let's go to Afzal. 60 seconds. Go.
Okay, on this genocide thing, Nelson, I believe Palestinians are really not capable of such heinous acts. What you are taking as river to the sea as a genocide, no, I never would take that at all. No, that's not possible. They mean a state where everybody lives in a democratic way and they have equal rights. That's what my understanding is, and that's doable. As you see the nature of West Bank now, there is a heterogeneous population right now. I mean, it's not all like same sect and same Arab Muslims. No, they are heterogeneous over there. So that's what they mean to implement all across Greater Palestine.
Appreciate you. That's the fastest you've ever been on a mic ever. World record. Somebody call Guinness. All right. Mariah, 60 seconds. Go.
The first one to say from the river to the sea, it was Yasser Arafat that basically he sent a lot of people to bump in the middle of Tel Aviv, in the middle of Haifa, Jerusalem. So basically he killed a lot of Israelis. When I say Israelis, it's mean 20% of them are Arabs, and basically also right now we have our Arab civilians who kidnapped to Gaza, and a lot of Arab civilians who tried to save people from October 7. Thanks God, we have a couple Arab citizens that came back, and we are still waiting for them to come back home from Gaza. So when you say from the river to the sea, for me as an Israeli, I see Yasser Arafat in front of me, the picture, and thinking only about how he wanted to kill all of us.
Shit, everybody's on point tonight with the timing, man. That's crazy. So you fuckers can actually behave yourselves. Wow. All right, let's go to George real quick, bro. You got 60 seconds, man. Let's do it.
All right. So something people are really leaving out is the actual chant in Arabic, right? Which Yehuda covered, but there's two words he left out. Min il maya lal maya, which is from the water to the water. The second part of the phrase in Arabic is Falastin Arabiyeh. Palestine is Arab.
That is an ethnically exclusive phrase. It means removing all Jews. It's Hamas's chant, and it was the PLO chant. And finally, Arafat actually said, "We will strengthen our hold on them, and we're willing to give 70 of our martyrs for every one of theirs in this campaign because this is our holy land." Arafat repeatedly called in Arabic for mass genocide and ethnic cleansing of Jews in 2001, 2000.
He said that there is the genuine evidence of increasing genocidal incitement, overt intent to destroy the Palestinian people under occupation. And he resigned because of that. The very man who's supposed to work on this thing resigned. But on the other side, you have plenty of UN experts who don't agree with this because it doesn't fall into the original definitions of the 1949 Geneva Convention. Thanks.
Appreciate you, my brother. Real quick, Stealth, I want to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask all the Israeli speakers on this stage, right? Because this is another big buzzword. First of all, I'm going to ask you two questions.
I love you. Go ahead.
I want you to tell me who this is, right? And for everybody else in the audience, this is all a part of the engagement, right? Hit the chat feature at the bottom right corner. Respond to the tweet of this space if you know who this is, who I'm mimicking right now. Zayo. I am the Zayo Smasher. Zayo.
Well, you see, I'll
Oh,
tell
you
you
had to
right
bring
now.
him in.
Again, I'm
Somebody
sorry.
guess in the chat.
Everybody.
Just guess in the chat real quick. Who am I talking about?
It's definitely not
Sorry,
the
who they were.
Punani
I don't want to take
smasher. That's for
sexist
sure.
assumptions.
So the
So
real
it's either David
1
Duke
second.
or Suleiman.
Okay. So Stealth, here's my question, right? And to
Yeah.
you and all the
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah. Yes.
When somebody
Me
calls
and
you
all the Jews.
Zayo, because I didn't know what the fuck that meant before this shit, right?
Yeah.
Do you see it as a derogatory term? If so, talk about it.
Well, I think when it comes out of somebody's like a terrorist mouth, maybe, or maybe a propagandist for a terrorist group, yeah. But otherwise, like I don't very much, obviously, I use naughty words sometimes with certain individuals. I try to maintain, but I think to say Zio hunting or those kind of words, for me, that's a call to arms. That means let's go. I'm taking off my earrings. We're going to step outside. I'll take off my high heels and we're going to go at it. So, and not in a good way, in a bad way. So that's what he's basically saying. He's basically saying he's trying to hunt Jews, whether it's verbally, I don't care what way. That's something inappropriate. I would never put on a space ever in a million years, muzzy hunting, or God forbid, I would never say such a thing. That's just not in our character. So no, that's disgusting. No, that's fucked up in every single possible way.
Man, that's so crazy. When you just painted that perspective for me, like muzzy hunting or Muslim hunting.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people try to
Yeah.
cancel you for that type of shit?
Exactly. I would never say such a thing. I wouldn't even think of such a thing because that's ridiculous. It's just crazy to say something like that. So, but you have to hear it from the other end, like I have a ton of Muslim friends. So many I've grown up with throughout my life. We never would talk to each other like this. Ever, ever, ever. In my house, if I even hear, I'm going to give you another example that may be sensitive, the N word. I will slap the shit out of you if you're in my house and anybody uses that word. Also, my goddaughter is from the islands. I have all sorts of different people, and I grew up Orthodox. The person who did my makeup at my wedding was African American, and he was gay, and he was like the head of MAC. So, and he came and had a table with all the religious people at my wedding, and I gave him respect and honor. That's what you do. You pick people based on their hearts. I'm sorry, that's just me. So I would never say such a thing.
Man, that's
And I never even let people bring up their names. I do not speak about Suleiman and Khaleesi in my space. I don't block them. They can have 9 hour spaces about me. I don't talk about, people. I don't give energy to that, because God will ultimately judge everybody's statements. If you believe in God, if you don't believe in God, then I can't help you. So
Man, you know that's so crazy the way you painted that perspective for me, right? Because I mean, Zionists and the way people use that terminology on social media, you're referring to a group of people, right? And of course, some make
hmm
the excuse that not all Jews are Zionists or whatever, but still, you're still
that's not true. It's the same thing.
It
If
is
you're a Jew,
though,
you're a
right?
Zionist. If you're a Zionist, you're a Jew.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same
So
thing.
it's like imagine if I had a space saying Negro hunting, right?
Oh my
Negro is
God.
a group of people, right?
You would call me up and you'd tell me where to meet up and we'd head out. That's how it would be, Nelson.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It would be the same thing.
Yeah. So it's like
It's the same thing.
it literally is the same thing, like Muslim
It's
hunting, Christian
disgusting.
hunting. It literally is the same thing. Well,
Eh,
let me see what everybody else on stage thinks, but Stealth, I absolutely agree with you though.
Okay, thank you.
Yehuda, Zio, when somebody calls you that, I mean, what are your thoughts? Being a Jew, talk about it.
Yeah, totally irrelevant. They're trying to turn Zionism into a dirty word when it's actually the world's first successful decolonization, self-determination project in all of humanity. It's representative of a time in history where people who have been expelled for 2,600 years coming back to the land, buying it in good faith, settling it, planting fields, becoming a nation with their brothers and sisters. Zionism is far from a dirty word. It's literally the epitome of human existence. And so when terrorist enablers try to use it as a dirty word, call me a Zionist, I could care less. You could call me, monkey's uncle. I don't really care. It doesn't mean anything to me, and I don't let silly people and ignorant people dictate how I feel about words. The other thing that she said prior is, yeah, it's true. 95% of Jews are Zionists. It's part of our culture. So to say it, the people who are using it in that term are just afraid in their countries of being, arrested for racism, hate crimes. So they use Zio instead of Jew. They mean Jew, but they try to dress it up like as it's offensive to us. They're only tricking themselves. Doesn't matter to us. We know what it means. Thanks.
That's crazy. Kirk, are you Jewish, bro?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
Tell me
yeah.
in
Lived in
30
Israel.
seconds, how do you feel when you see something like Zio hunting or, you're a Zionist, you're a Zio?
That's a dog whistle for the radicalized. That's the dog whistle to uninformed conspiracy theories. We all proud Zionists. Like it's not an insult to us. Like it's part of us. That's what we are. It's patriotic to us. It's kind of like calling you an American or something. Like it's really not a big deal. But what they're doing is essentially you can replace it with a Jew, and that's it. They're just dog whistling, and they're just trying to be anti-Semitic. That's all that comes down to.
Damn. Let me go to the last person real quick, and then I want to go to the pro-Palestinians. Shazman, Zio hunting. Zio. I'm the Zio smasher. How do you feel when you hear that type of shit?
Yeah, so full disclaimer, I'm an Iranian diaspora. I'm not actually Israeli or Jewish, but
I'm Jewish.
what was it? Well, yeah, you should definitely get Mossad.
Shit, let me go to her, bro. You don't qualify, man. You don't have that Jewish card, my brother. But Mossad.
Related story, but yeah.
Hey.
Same question. Let's talk about it.
Okay. So Zio itself doesn't offend me, even though I know David Duke was the one that originated the word. But it's more like all the explicitly genocidal threats when nobody's around. You know what I mean? Like under your posts on Instagram or in your inbox, like they constantly explicitly threaten us with genocide, explicitly. But of course, they won't do it on a public stage. They thinly veil their desires. Um, you can look at www.hamas.com, by the way, for any evidence you want to see of the atrocities. Anyways, yeah. So it's more of like all of the genocidal signs that I see in the movement. Like Zionist, again, is not a bad word. I am also a proud Zionist. So it doesn't bother me. What they're trying to do is just stigmatize the word. And I won't let that happen.
I appreciate you, Mosai. Real quick, guys, to everybody else in the space, I want to know what you guys think, especially the Jewish people in here. Matter of fact, anybody can answer the question, right? Do you think the way that word is used, on Twitter, especially today, with the whole Zio hunting or just Zios and that type of shit, right? If you think it is derogatory, I want you to type absolutely in the chat right now. So hit the chat feature at the bottom right corner of your screens. Respond to the tweet of this space with absolutely if you believe it is a derogatory term, the way it's used, right, on social media. If you think it's absolutely fine, just say not an issue. Just type not an issue. Okay. With that being said, let me get back to the rest of the speakers on the stage.
Nelson, can I jump in quickly? Just one more thing on this. To Zion, to word appears into Israeli anthem, so it's part of us. I mean, that's part of the country. So when they insult and try to attack that, they essentially know what they're doing. They're attacking Jews and they're attacking the country.
Appreciate you, my brother. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep this thing rocking and rolling, right? And I'm looking at the chat right now. For anybody else that wants to see what everybody else in the space is saying, just literally hit that chat feature, bottom right hand corner, and just scroll through. And right now, you do have a majority of people in this space saying absolutely. So again, it's like it's that thing, right? Like, yo, if you're pushing for peace, and most Jews think of this term the way it's being used as derogatory, then why use it? Right? Why use it? It's how they perceive it. So why use it in that way? Right? Because again, I'm like for example, today I don't mean to call you out. You know, you're my girl, but let me just call out what you just typed in the chat right now, right? So Sade is basically like, it's not an issue, right? She says, not an issue. The colonial settlers occupying and oppressing Palestinians are Zionists. Telling us not to use the word because it is offensive is one way of censorship. Interesting. I think we should all talk about that real quick. Let's get.
Let me talk about that real quick.
Who is that?
Nelson,
What's your name, real quick?
Hey, this is George.
George. 60 seconds. Let's go.
All right, listen. Just like the word Pakistani or Pakistan is not an ethnic slur, but saying Paki is negative. You shouldn't do it, right? Because Pakistanis don't like that, okay? Very, very similarly, Zionist is not a negative term. I'm proud to be a Zionist. But Zio was a term that originated on KKK neo-Nazi David Duke's radio show. And so referring to Jews or to anybody as Zios, right, is a way of being aligned with white supremacists. So I hope today, right, is not aligning herself with white supremacists. I know that Suleiman routinely aligns himself with white supremacists on his show, and he has white supremacists up on his stage. I'm done.
Appreciate you, my brother. Let me see. Anybody? Stealth. 60 seconds. What are your thoughts about her comments?
Oh no, I already made. Oh, you want me to comment on her comment? Or I already made the comment about Zio. If you want to go to somebody else,
fuck it. Just jump in. Let's go.
All I have to say is that she clearly doesn't understand how much the Jews stood up for minority communities throughout history all the time, including the African American community, including the community of Ethiopians in Israel, and we still do. And there are brothers and sisters always. So you can ask any decent Jewish person how they felt about slavery, how they felt about what happened to the Ethiopians, what happened in America. Our heart goes out to them. So she's aligned with the wrong groups of people, and she's thinking about the wrong thing. Right now in Qatar, there are more slaves than Qataris. Okay, right now in Yemen, there's open slave auctions. This to Jews is the most offensive thing possible, and if we could single-handedly go and fix that, we would. It is disgusting. When I see in certain major cities in the U.S. people bringing their slaves with them, literally with them, as their actual slaves, right? And you hear these stories that they take away their passports or their visas, they can't leave. These things break our heart. And that's the Jewish population. And that's across every single friend I've ever spoken to. It's the same thing. So that is something we definitely stand up for. And it's disgusting what's going on. And the amount of actual slaves that died in Qatar building the soccer stadium. I did not watch FIFA this year because it was in Qatar. I know what they did to those people. These poor families didn't know what to happen to their family members that died, and they don't give a flying shit. So you need to be on the right side of history when it comes to slavery in Qatar, in Yemen, in other countries, and whatever else is going on in the world. I'm sorry. Thanks.
I appreciate you, Stealth. Let me go to psychiatrist real quick because he's a pro-Palestinian speaker. Let me balance it out, and then I want to go to our superstar, a published speaker, by the way, my guy, psychiatrist. 2 minutes. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about the from the river to the sea. All of these things are only call outs. What on the ground is Israel occupying the land. Add to this that Israel itself does not allow anyone to be Israeli, and this is not what I'm saying. This is a law that the Supreme Court rejected the Israeli nationality because it demifies the Jewish state. So whoever will live in Israel, even those 2 million Arabs that should have been 14 million because their relatives were kicked off Israel in 1994, in 1948. So he is not Israeli because he is not Jewish. So this is the ethnic
That's
cleansing
not
and genocide that have been happening since this conflict started. Thank you.
My brother, jump in.
Zionists. Well, it's being used against Arabs as well, and it's being used against Muslims as well. So, for instance, right now it has become a dog
Shit is
whistle
being
to
used
call
against my
anyone.
black ass. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's being used against. So the tactic is to shame people, right? So it's being used right now against Arab voices that call for peace, and Arab voices who are narrating the story without any narratives, just sticking to hard historical facts, accepting some losses, moving on, and trying to build a better future. So whoever dares to voice different opinions, they get called an Arab Zionist. Why? Because they want people to gang up on them and to silence them, and they want them to basically withdraw from the conversation. It's a tactic to shame people whenever they speak about peace, whenever they speak about the actual history of what happened, and they want us to stay silent. They are using it as a dog whistle. They are naming and shaming us and calling us Arab Zionists if we dare to speak, if we dare speak for peace, if we dare say a different story than the story that they want to propagate, and if we counter their disinformation with facts. And it has been an integral part of the information campaign since the beginning of this crisis against all Arab voices that speak for peace and don't take the side and the narrative of Palestinian activists online.
I appreciate you for that, my brother. Let me go to Sammy. Sammy, what are your thoughts about what he's saying? What are your thoughts about what's been said over the past 10 minutes?
Yeah, so I think that, a lot of people would agree with me, everyone, that, a Zionist is very simple. It's just a person who believes in Israel's right to exist uh, as a Jewish state. I think everyone would agree with that. There are more Christian Zionists than there are Jewish Zionists, and evangelical Christians have a higher Zionist percentage than Jewish people. But I do want to say that the definition of Zionist being someone who believes in Israel's right to exist, states and countries don't have the right to exist. People have the right to exist. Jewish people have the right to exist. Muslims have the right to exist. I have the right to exist. You have the right to exist. States, countries do not have rights. So the idea of Zionism, the idea of a state or a country's right to exist, is based in, if you could hit that button for me, Nelson, dumbassery. States don't have the right to exist. People have the right to exist. Countries do not have the right to exist. That's why Zionism is just a silly ideology that you can easily stop believing in. It's not wrong to be anti-Zionist. It's an ideology anyone could stop to believe in
Perfect.
anytime.
So I
That's
think
not
you're
true.
incorrect,
Perfect.
Samuel. Just
Nelson,
so you
One,
know,
Nelson,
one
Nelson,
second,
there's
Nelson. I gotta
actually
go.
everybody.
a French.
I gotta go.
Can I
I gotta
jump
go. I
in?
gotta
Eh,
go.
I've been
wait,
waiting
wait,
for
wait.
my
Every
turn.
Everybody's
state does
triggered.
have a right
Everybody's
to
triggered.
exist.
Wait,
That
wait,
was
wait.
determined in the
I gotta do
19th
this.
One second, guys. One
century,
second.
No, no, no,
Samuel.
Stealth. I gotta do
One second.
this.
One second, guys. 1 second. Okay. So I just might let me see. Fuck. Okay.
I really gotta do this.
Yehuda, I got 60 seconds on you. And,
Agree with
and
me,
then
Nelson. I know you.
one sec, calm down, my brother. Yoda, I'm going to give you 60 seconds, and I'm going to give Mossad 60 seconds as well. Let's balance it out. Let's go.
I'll go quick. Perfect, Sammy. So since states don't deserve to exist, Palestine doesn't deserve to exist. You can live inside Israel as Palestinians. Perfect. There you go.
I said
It makes no
the
sense.
right to exist, not deserve to
So
exist.
Palestine has no right to exist. Are you happy now?
Can I respond?
No, but
No,
you don't make. Sure.
I don't.
It's just so silly.
Countries
States have
don't
a
have
right
the
to
right to
exist.
exist. You're right. Palestinians have to earn the right for the Palestinian state to exist, and I think they will earn that right.
Let me go to Mossad.
Israel already
They will earn
exists.
that.
You got to get
1
over
second,
it.
everybody.
Israel's here to stay, Sam.
1 second. 1 second. Let me go to Mossad. Mossad, you've got 60 seconds. Go.
Okay, so first of all, the only reason they hate Israel so much is because it's the collective of Jews. Okay? You don't hear anybody else so obsessed with any other country on earth. Okay? So they don't want the collective of Jews to have rights. We see that from the last 1400 years of repeated massacres of Jews, of oppression of Jews treated like third class citizens under Arab Islamic rule. Like, 1948 didn't happen in a fucking vacuum. Okay, you guys fail to acknowledge the 900,000 Mizrahi Jews from every Arab country in the region. Okay, land 5 times the size of Israel was expropriated from them. But you don't ever
could go in the future. We don't know how the world's going to be in the future. We're living in the most exciting time in humankind, and states don't have the right to exist. A lot of people don't.
So you want open borders? I don't know if you live in North America, but you want open borders. Anybody to come into your house, so anybody can come over tonight and move into your house and kick you out, right?
I
No
didn't
right
say
to
I
exist.
believe in that. I said it's a possibility that states can lose their right to exist.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So
we're dealing
we're
in
wasting
Dearie
reality,
time.
me.
not in
Look,
possibilities.
guys, this is really rather entertaining. Sammy, buddy, people are states. States are people. They are the most popular way that we have constructed modern society since the Westphalian system arguably created the modern state as the administrative physical boundaries of a country in the 1640s. Then the nation state, or the nation, yes, you can argue it's existed before because identities, but the actual physical concept of a nation, Bismarck, 1848, 1880s, right? So this idea that suddenly that states don't have a right to exist, well, they kind of do because humans like to put ourselves into categories and organize ourselves. I can't believe I'm saying this as the accused globalist of the entire bloody X app, but what you're preaching for is globalism. You want a purely anarchist, arguably cosmopolitan world where nobody exists with any borders. But I'm afraid that's not how it works. So
you need to figure out exactly how you distinguish those borders, and that's what exactly Palestine and Israel is. It's a dispute over land, which has strategical, religious, cultural, historical, and economic interests and values to it. And you have two groups of people, largely speaking, who both claim ownership of that specific land. What about the other non-stateless people like the Kurds or the Oegas or the Somaliland people or the West Saharans, right? All these people are people who have identities, but they don't have states. I don't really feel that that's a very strong argument. And I feel like Yehuda did point out something, because I definitely heard you say something that he said you said and not what you said. So anyway, I feel like we should go back to some more tangible issues, because this is completely abstract and not really going to help the
Like, where's
conversation.
Sammy left his brain?
The whole basis of Zionism is that a country has the right to exist. So I think it's a pretty big discussion on whether or not any country has the right to exist.
That's not
I'm
the
not
whole
a
basis of
globalist.
No, it's not
Zionism.
the whole
Sorry.
basis.
One second, everybody. We're speaking over each other. Okay, I need to be able to moderate this thing. Okay, let's get back to how we were flowing. Sammy, I need you on 20 seconds, and I need to pass the mic away from you. Quick, let's go.
All right. Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm not a globalist. I'm just saying that it is possible to structure worlds this way. People believe that Africa could be a Pan-African state. Like people believe in a Pan-Arab nations could
And
become
it's
an.
the biggest failure in
The
the world. The
European Union.
Pan-Arab
I got
state was
20
a complete
seconds, bro.
failure.
Just
They
20
tried
seconds.
it.
Just 20 seconds. I'm begging you.
Time's up. Time's up. Appreciate you.
Sorry.
Appreciate you. Okay, you can steal his time back later on when he's speaking. Okay. Ahmad, you posted something interesting in the chat, right? You essentially posted something saying the reason why you hate Jews is because they've occupied your land for however long period of time, right? So if you don't mind grabbing the microphone, speak on that for 2 minutes. And I think that's going to take us to another topic that we can definitely debate. Go ahead.
Can I respond to him when he's done, please? I beg you.
Wait, calm down. Patience. Ahmad,
Wait,
jump in.
Nelson, wasn't M waiting for a while?
No, M
Don't you-
jumped in.
Oh,
M jumped in.
okay, sorry.
Very, very briefly, to respond to Sami, at the very core of the Islamist ideology is this concept that borders are sand or sands, al-hudud turab, right? It's the rejection of the concept of Westphalian sovereignty that Peter has just highlighted. That is at the one of the core beliefs of the pan-Islamist movement is the rejection of borders. They again, it's all about rejecting the results of the First World War. Turkey lost the war. Sykes-Picot, the occupied territories, the British Mandate of Palestine. I get it. People want to reverse history, and they think that an age of empires will usher in uh, better realities and societies for all. No, it will bring about more conflict. This notion of rejecting Westphalian sovereignty is a regressive movement. It wants to take us back. It denies the arc of development of humanity, of the modern world over the last century, and I totally think it's absurd. Maybe, yes, going forward, we will see a more connected, globalized world, and we will all get on spaceships, and we will colonize the entire universe, and we will unite together as one species, one race, and start facing other challenges. But now is not the right time for this.
America's an empire, just so we're clear.
America is a superpower country. It's not an empire. And globalization and economic cooperation and relationships and so on and so forth doesn't make them an empire. They don't rule over other countries, and they don't tell them what to do. And this has been very clear over the last 2 years, for instance, given the current conflicts and crisis all over the planet, where interests are always at odds. Just look at Macron and how he's behaving.
Absolutely. Ahmad, are you here? I need you to unmute your mic, or I'm going to have to, give your spot to somebody else. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're pro-Palestinian, hit the request button. I know I have 24 speakers trying to get on stage. I don't know what side you guys are on. So if you don't mind, just shoot me a DM. Let me know what side you're on. I'll go ahead and bring you up to the stage just to make sure we got a balanced stage. That being said, let me go to this gentleman. Not a Zionist Jew. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay, man. How are you?
No, fantastic. That's a very interesting username or whatever you got there.
He's also not a Jew, Nelson. We went through this last time.
Okay. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the conversation thus far? Talk about it.
Okay.
2 minutes.
First of all, okay. So Zionism. There's different types of Zionism, and they know it. There's political Zionism, liberal Zionism, Labour Zionism, revisionist Zionism, cultural Zionism, and religious Zionism, and they'd like you to think it's all one and the same thing, but it's not. To my mind, the Zionism these guys is a genocide-denying, racist, Palestinian-hating religion, or if you can call it a religion, it's more of a philosophy.
Pretty big.
Insightful. Pretty
Pretty big
insightful.
coming
It
from
wasn't.
somebody who came from a country that invaded 90% of the world's countries. Calling
Is
somebody
that my fault?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a bad response, Mossad. I think the real response should have been, it wasn't, he didn't have genocide Zionism on his list of Zionism, and he mentioned religious Zionism twice. He's probably Googled it. The last time we interacted with this gentleman, he pretended to be Jewish, and he was called out. He said, "No, I'm not Jewish." But
to be Jewish ever.
you were in the
Never
space with me,
have I.
and you were in the space with me and Em.
You're
You
a
remember?
liar.
Okay.
40 seconds, Yehuda.
Your name says not a Zionist Jew. It's like saying, I'm not a Muslim, but I'm not even Muslim. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's okay. We understand. Look, I mean, there are people that don't understand Zionism. Zionism is rooted in the Jewish faith, whether you're religious or not. What people seem to forget is Jews are an ethno-religious group. Hebrew as a tribe, Jewish as a religion. You don't have to be Hebrew to be a Jew, but all Jews are Hebrews. If you don't believe in this policy, this is the big conflation. I don't like Netanyahu, so you cannot like the government but still support the state's existence. It's very simple. Thanks.
Absolutely,
Also-
absolutely. Dude, somebody just snitched on you in the audience real quick, and I usually don't do this shit, but I mean, dude, the message you sent this lady is kind of serious, man. I have to highlight it. Okay, please don't send messages like this again. So Nikki in the audience just put this in there. I just pinned it all the way up top at the very top of the space, so everybody can take a look at it. So Mr. Not a Zionist Jew sent this message to Nikki Munitz in the audience, and the message says, "Zionist genocidal slut bitch." Okay, Mr. Not a Zionist Jew. What's the deal with you, bro? Why are you sending women this kind of message, man? What's your problem? Are you silent all of a sudden? Cat got your tongue? What's up, man? I thought you were puffing your chest earlier, bro. What happened?
Zionist stole his mic.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I said I would never send that.
What?
Zionist stole his balls.
You would never send that? I mean, dude, your name's all over that goddamn message, bro. Am I seeing double or something?
Yeah, because it's been fabricated.
Holy shit.
Oh, yes.
Nikki, if you're in the audience, I need you to hit the request button right now.
I can't even see. I can't even see what you posted because she's blocked me.
I don't have you blocked, bro.
And you rejected it before.
Wait, mute out. I don't have you blocked, brother. You follow me. Like, you can't follow me if I blocked you. Matter of fact, you can't even get in this space if I blocked you.
No, it's Nikki that's blocked me. I can't see the post you're talking about.
Nikki, hit the request button real quick if you're in the audience. Hit the request button real quick. Munitz. Nikki Munitz.
I don't call women bitches. I'm respectful.
Don't worry. She just requested. I'm bringing her up right now. God damn it. We about to have some popcorn. All right. Nikki, he's saying this is a fabricated image. What are your thoughts, Nikki? Jump in.
Well, it's in my inbox, so who fabricated it? Because it's from his account.
Damn. Nikki, do you have him blocked?
I blocked him, but I just unblocked him so he can see it.
Oh, I've got it up now.
And and I've never interacted with the guy. He just sent that to me totally randomly.
Random.
So,
well, maybe he likes you.
Okay, so Mr. Lund. Yeah, so I looked at it now. Yes, I did send it.
Yeah, why?
I sent
so
it.
Why did you lie before? Yeah, damn it, like.
I forgot.
Mate, why did you lie?
I forgot.
You forgot.
He said so many.
I looked at it.
How do you forget
It was sent like
insult someone that
weeks
badly?
ago.
So let me get this straight.
So
Let me get wait, calm down. Okay, so Nikki, I appreciate you for coming up when I asked you to come up. If not, a lot of people would have probably ran with the narrative that we're picking on him and he didn't say that. But I appreciate you also for being honest about your dumbass. Okay? Because you got to be a really stupid motherfucker to send a lady that kind of message, respectfully.
Yeah,
Right?
okay, I apologise for that. I'm
Nah,
sorry.
you're not sorry, bro. If you forgot you sent that, how many people you sent messages like that to?
You sent it 4 minutes ago, dude. Look at the timestamp.
I have not called a woman a bitch for decades.
For 4 minutes.
Bro, like
She wasn't on stage. What did she say that offended you so badly?
Wait. Just to clarify,
that's what I mean. You're not letting me explain the context.
Nikki, go
that
ahead.
message was sent. That message was sent a few days ago. I just went into when I heard him talk and I recognized the name. I went into my messages and posted the screenshot. He sent it a few days ago. He didn't send it 4 minutes ago, but still.
Oh, okay, thanks for clarifying.
Bro, what's your deal, man?
I've never interacted with the guy in my life, and I just found that message in my inbox. I mean, so clearly he's not stable.
Real quick, right? In my clubhouse shows, usually, calm down, okay? I tell you guys, what I usually do in my clubhouse shows, right? Usually when there's a situation like this, I copy the guy's profile, I put his profile up top, I usually block him, and I tell the audience to do whatever they want to do with him, right? But this is Spaces now, this is X, and I'm trying to take on a new lead, but I mean, dude, bro, like you should be fucking reported and blocked, bro. Sliding in the ladies' DMs like that.
Everyone makes
Nah, bro. Ain't no everyone makes mistakes, bro. You don't call a lady a slut, bitch, a lady you've never met in your goddamn life, bro. What the fuck do you mean everybody makes mistakes?
Yeah, and people should accept apologies when they're given.
Man, fuck your apology, bro.
Well,
Nelson,
fuck you
can I
then.
talk for a second?
Fuck your
Oh, you
apology.
heard
Man, fuck your apology, bro.
Yehuda jumped in yet again. You let him jump in so much.
Can I weigh in?
Yeah, Brian, jump in.
Yeah, he picking on Nikki is not random. He picked on her because she's an attractive woman who stands up for herself, and this is consistent with the thread of misogyny that I saw all last night in Suleiman's space. And these tough guys on the Hamas side, this is who they are. Thanks.
Jewish women
And by the way, sir,
routinely.
I'm the one that blocked you.
One second. Jewish women routinely get harassed significantly more than Jewish men like I do. I get some death threats, I get some harassment. It's 1/10 of what stuff like Mossad agent gets.
Yeah, and I just want to say, as someone with no skin in this game, dude, I have sympathies for the Palestinians, and I also completely abhorrent to the events of October 7th. But just objectively, what you've done there is absolutely abhorrent in its own right. Like you say that to a woman. I mean, I cannot stand this behavior and misogyny. Like, what the fuck is that, dude? Seriously, go check yourself.
Did he leave?
And by the way, it's not just misogyny. That is pure Jew hatred right there.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
Zionist
dude,
bitch.
bro, that's literally someone's mom, bro. Like Nikki, do you have kids?
Yes, I have 3 sons.
See the fuck we're talking about. She's got 3 kids. Like you step into her DMs calling her a slut bitch. Like the fuck. It's actually pissing me off. I really want to fucking block his ass and report him right now. Like I really want to. Like that's some.
But there's context.
The
He
fuck.
said there's context.
What's the
context?
What fucking context, bro? Like
I would love to know the context because I had no idea who he even was. But just so you guys know, I don't care what that guy thinks. I don't care what unstable randos on Twitter think about me. I hear it every day. I mean, it's a reflection on him, not me. I couldn't care less what that guy thinks.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. That guy reminds me of this one dude. And Barbara's on stage. Barbara could talk about this situation, but probably about, let's say, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, in one of our clubhouse shows, there used to be this one guy, right? He used to call himself Big Mike. Similar situation with this guy where he sounds like, he's, probably obese, overweight, never leaves the house, like one of those kind of situations, right?
Why are you talking about Jonathan Nelson?
Not Jonathan. but check this out real quick, right? So this dude, Barbara and a number of people, they're always moderators on my stage, right? He's always going in their DMs. Oh, I like that color on you. Oh, little messages like that, where at first one would think it's cute or whatever, right? And then, we get to find out this dude is a goddamn predator. You know what I'm saying?
100%. It was so
Like a
gross.
full on
All of
predator.
us, we were all getting these DMs, would blow him off, and next thing you know, he was like terrorizing like 20 women, like really gross. Oh, whatever.
Nelson, check your DMs. I've had about 7 people message me and send me his tweets. You got to look at them. You got to look at a couple of these tweets.
Man,
Yeah, Nikki, you can just hard press on his DM, and you can report that specific abusive DM.
yeah, nah, for sure, man.
Did you see
Yo,
your DM, Nelson?
what the fuck? All
These are
right, check
his
this out.
tweets.
So this guy tweeted November 29th, 2:24 p.m. He at somebody and Maria Love, and he's like, I have huge tits and like being a slut to show them off to the world. I mean, come on, man. This guy's a disturbed motherfucker, man. Like we should fucking block and report this dude. Like,
He's verging on sort of like incel shit. By the
yeah,
sounds
we
of
should
it,
fucking block and report this son of a bitch, man.
And he is coming in to support Palestinian cause. What a son of a.
Dude, I see that dude on fucking Suleiman stage
Most
all the
people
goddamn time.
Nelson,
on
I
that.
put it in the nest if you want to report it there for everyone to make it easier.
Fuck it, put his
If
profile
you
up
want.
top, man. Put his profile up top.
All right.
We're gonna do that shit, man. Come on, man. Like, listen, it doesn't matter if you're pro-Palestinian or pro-Israeli. You got a motherfucking predator on the goddamn loose, man. I mean, fucking.
That
Nelson, I
guy's
have
fucked
got
up. That's
several
fucking
DMs today
crazy,
that we
bro.
are doing a really bad job. And it's no coincidence that Palestinian side, we have done a horrific job today. Man, bringing to us like a Khilafah. And M took it right. I mean, we provided him opportunity to run after the Khilafah. Sammy, we have to be about Palestine. We do not need to bring more wrath on ourselves, please. Get focused. I'm getting a lot of DMs. Either you guys leave the damn stage, or if you are there, then be about the topic. It's crap, man.
No,
So
100%.
much.
Afzal, listen, man, you got to listen to that advice yourself. When you're sitting there and you're telling Jews, you're like doing a thumbs down when we're telling you Zio is an ethnic slur, and you're like,
No, I
no, no,
agree
no,
with you.
no.
No, 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 no. Don't.
Listen, I don't have time for you guys to be doing all this bullshit argument right now. We got a show to run, right? So let's stay on point and not get distracted. Yehuda posted a guy's profile up top. I just went ahead and reported his ass. Well, fucking Afzal was speaking for 500 minutes and blocked his ass, right? And I think everybody in here should do the same. This dude's a predator. He should not be allowed in these online spaces. Shouldn't be anywhere close to anybody in here. And I respectfully think everybody should go ahead and do so. So,
Yeah,
That
I
guy
had already.
reminds me.
Brian, go ahead real quick.
Well, two things real quick. One, I had already blocked him 10 minutes ago when he first went after Nikki. But two, watch out for this new talking point about context. Okay, this guy said there was some context needed earlier in this space. You had someone who watched the rape video and said, "Well, I need more context." So just watch that.
No, 100%, man, 100%. But that being said, fucking wow, what a predator. But I apologize for sort of getting sidetracked there, but I definitely had to highlight that. That was some crazy shit. But that being said, Ahmad, right? So Ahmad, you wrote some interesting stuff in the chat, right? You were basically like, "Hey, we hate Jews because they occupy us," right? And I want to give you your 2 minutes to speak on it, and let's throw in some rebuttals and let's have a debate. Ahmad, jump on the microphone. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. In my tweet, I was not referring to Jews. That is when I was referring to Israelis. But for me, I'm a Palestinian. I have never had contact with anybody from Israel before getting to America. So all I've known from them is the IDF going and coming back, being stopped on checkpoints. So that's my perspective of Israel in general. Like that's all I've seen in my life. And that's all I had to say. I mean,
Ahmad, okay, so you spoke for like 40 seconds. So I'm gonna give you a little bit more time. Where are you from, brother? You from Palestine?
yes, I'm currently in the US though.
Okay, so you're from Gaza?
No, not Gaza. I'm from the West Bank.
Okay, so do this for me. Describe the experience of you and your family while living in that area of the world when it comes to the Israelis. You've got 60 seconds. Go.
Yes, sir. To the Israelis as a population, I have never seen any Israelis in the West Bank except these soldiers. That is all I've ever seen. I've not met a person from Israel in Palestine. All I've ever seen was the IDF. So for me, my perspective is the IDF. They're the bad guys. They're in my land. That's why we hate them. I can't go from one city to another without getting stopped. My first memory is being stopped and an IDF soldier pointing a gun at my mother and my grandfather when I was around 6 years old. So yeah, that is my experience.
Now let me go to Yehuda or M. Either one of you guys. But let's go on full on 2 minute response.
Sure, I don't know how much response I can have. I mean, I've been in the West Bank. Soldiers don't randomly point their guns at people's faces. They have guns on them because they're soldiers. But I can't speak to this person's experience. I also find it hard to believe that he's never met an Israeli ever in the West Bank. That's kind of seems like a bit of a red flag to me. But if he says he had a bad experience, I have no reason to disbelieve him. He said someone pointed a gun. I'm not sure what that means. Did they drive through a checkpoint? Did they say "F you"? I don't know. I mean, just unsure. So I don't want to call him out because I don't think there's enough information there, Nelson. Honestly.
Sammy, sorry, Ahmad, you want to go in and respond to that?
Yeah, we were at a checkpoint. My mom did not say anything. Um, just one of the soldiers. And then after my mom told him we were U.S., we had U.S. passports, the officer told him to put the gun down. Also, another experience in my own town, they had a Norte Jawul, I don't know what you call it in English, basically like a curfew, but you can't go outside. My dad opened the curtains and there was a laser going through the room. They did not shoot, but that is also one of my experiences in my own town in the West Bank. So I don't know why Yahuda's saying that's not possible. Like they're
I
in the
didn't
West.
say that. I just said, could you provide more context of why someone would even point a gun for you to say we're Americans? Like, what happened? That they just, I've been there. I've actually been in the IDF, so I've never seen a situation where someone just saw a car,
I
walked
mean,
up to it, and said, "Here's a gun. Let me point it at you." Like, what happened?
sorry, I got a phone call. Yeah, I don't expect you to have the same experience as me or any Palestinian in Palestine. If you've ever been, I don't know where you've been. You said you've been to Palestine, like the West Bank. Um, I don't know what your experience going through checkpoints is. I don't know why you would have the same experience if you're not Palestinian. That's all I'm saying.
Sammy,
Okay.
Ahmad, let me get off of this real quick, right? It seems like we're just going back and forth over personal experience. What are your thoughts about October 7th, right? Hamas. Do you support the actions that took place on October 7th, or do you condemn them?
Do I support them? Not 100%. Do I condemn them? I condemn the killing of any unarmed civilian, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you're kind of boring, bro. I'm just keeping it real with you right now. You
I
probably got
mean,
you
you're
probably
back.
I'm just keeping it real with
You're
you, bro.
back
Like,
to
you know what
the
I'm saying?
October 7th, and do you condemn them? I mean, that's like one of the most
Right,
asked
right, right.
questions.
Okay, appreciate you, bro.
Like,
All right,
yeah,
bro.
no problem.
100%. Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you very much. All right, cool. Let me go to Nico real quick. Nico, you just jumped on stage. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Get it out. Let's debate it. Talk about it.
What's up, Nelson? Yeah, I can attest to what Sammy was saying. I was just in the West Bank last summer, me, my wife, and kids, and it was the same thing. I did. My family did have a gun pointed at them. We were going from Jerusalem to Ramallah. We stopped. We had to stop at the Kalandia crossing. While walking up to the Kalandia crossing, there was, there was maybe hundreds of people walking up to the crossing, and even though we're American citizens and we had our passports, you know we still had to go with the Arabs, and we had to do the whole checkpoint thing. And while we were walking up, my son, and he's just he's a wild kid, and he was moving too much, and he kind of pointed the gun at us, and he's like, and then he started yelling at us, Hawiya, Hawiya, which is ID, while kind of shrugging his gun at us. And then we pulled out our passports, showed him our passports, and then we did continue to walk. It also happened to us actually in Jerusalem, while we were walking in Jerusalem, just walking around outside of Al Aqsa and the Western Wall, just walking through the neighborhoods. We had to walk through. I don't know, forgot the name of the neighborhood, because there was a bus that we had to take to get to the Columbia crossing. And while we were walking, I believe there's a lot of Israel, a lot of Jewish Israelis in Jerusalem, and I think we might have been walking towards somewhere that Arabs are probably not supposed to be. So they walked up to us, and one they there was three of them, two of them up front and one of them in the back, and the guy in the back did point his gun at, he kind of had his gun drawn at us, while the other two were asking us, why are we walking that way. So yeah, it does happen. I mean, even at I can keep going, at the at the bridge, when we were crossing over the bridge from Jordan to Palestine. I'm not gonna say they didn't pull a gun at us at that point, but they did make us wait over an hour, yeah, to get through, because we were Arabic. So
2, 1, 0. So, I'm just going to ask you this question for additional context, right? Why do you think the IDF is in the West Bank pointing guns at you? Matter of fact, why do you think there's heightened security in that area of Palestine, right? And I want you to answer in about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
because all Palestinian people are occupied, and one of the ways to occupy the people, is with fear, and instilling fear in them, and scaring them. So I mean, that's what I would say. um you know that's all I got to say.
Mossad, I want you to respond to that in 2 minutes. Talk about it.
Oh God, can I give George my time?
Sure. George, you want to take it?
Sorry, man. I kind of dozed off for a second. I missed
Okay,
what he
let me
said.
go to somebody else. Yehuda, anybody want to respond to that? Anybody on the stage?
I just check your DMs for a second, Nelson. Something else came up.
Who's going to respond to the
I,
shit on
I
the
guess
stage
I
though?
guess
Shit.
I'll
Can,
respond.
can you recap what he said? Yeah,
I
thanks.
just go ahead, Mossad. Go ahead.
So am I answering your question, Nelson, about why I think that is?
Yeah, I mean, very simple. Is very simply put, right? I asked him why does he think there's heightened security in that area of Palestine? And his answer is pretty much, Palestinians are being occupied by the Israelis. Period. There's no reason for it at all. They're just being occupied, right? And I want to get a perspective from the other side.
Well, you know what? I patrolled it. Can I say something here? I
Yeah, go
patrolled
ahead,
it.
Yehuda.
Okay, so the number one least fun or interesting thing for an Israeli soldier is to be patrolling the West Bank. It's crappy. No one wants to interact with Palestinians because no one cares about bothering them. The only reason why they're there is because of terror threats. So the reason why certain areas have more checkpoints, and it's not always the same. You'll hear it all the time from Palestinians themselves. They'll say, "Oh my God, the route from here to here was really slow because there were a lot more checkpoints, or the checkpoints were longer because they would do more of a thorough search." And the reason why, believe it or not, Nelson, wasn't because there was nothing better to do that day, was because intelligence, whether it was military intelligence, Aman or Shabak, internal security, picked up signal intelligence that Hamas terrorists were going to try to smuggle a bomb across the border to kill people at a bus stop or on a bus in Israel. So security goes through the roof in the West Bank. Certain areas, especially out of a town called Jenin, kind of like Terror Central. Um, that's where a lot of the stuff originates, and so there are more patrols or more security checkpoints in the area. When there's a really low risk of terror activity, the checkpoints disappear. or they just wave them through because there's no issue. It's just normal people going to work. So there's a direct correlation between the amount of checkpoints, the thoroughness of the checkpoint, and the terror threat. When there's no terror threat, there's no risk. So it's not, is it a crappy situation? For sure. It isn't fun because often the people at checkpoints are 19, 20-year-olds who aren't the most sophisticated in life. They haven't had a lot of experience, and sometimes they get mad and they don't do their job properly. It's happened. I've seen that. I've seen people lose their cool, but never pointing guns at people, maybe yelling back and forth. And Palestinians are pissed as well because the everyday average Palestinian just wants to drive somewhere. But the orders are the orders. There's a terrorist activity going on, and we need to stop it. That's generally life in the West Bank. That's how it works.
I've had a gun pointed at me twice in 7 days.
Okay, if I may explain.
I'm just letting you know. Twice we were there for 7 days, and we had guns pointed at us twice. So what you're saying
can I
is
ask you a
bullshit.
question? I thought I lived it, so I don't think it's bullshit. But let me ask you a question. When you say pointed, do you mean like full out, in your face, aim, ready to shoot at you?
Guns drawn at us. Yes, a gun drawn at us. One time there was
pointed at you. Pointed at you.
Yehuda,
I'm just asking you a question.
I just told my story. Yes, pointed at us. Yes.
Okay. So
absolutely. My son
Can I tell
grabbed
my
me
story?
by the side and hit his head behind my back. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, Giacomo, not yet.
Yeah. So the reason I didn't hear your story, that's why I'm asking you. I didn't
Yes,
hear your story.
absolutely. Twice. This was last summer. Once in Jerusalem and once in the West Bank at the Columbia Crossing.
Where would it be in Jerusalem? Because Columbia Crossing I buy, but I'm just saying, where would it be in Jerusalem?
We left. So I don't know the exact streets, Yehuda, but we left Al Aqsa Mosque, and we were walking. We walked through the market. We actually stayed at the Holy Land Hotel that is right across the street from the police station in Jerusalem.
My friends own it. I know it.
Okay, yeah. We stayed at the Holy Land Hotel while
they
we were
leaving.
I'm sorry.
The owners of that are Palestinians that live in Canada.
Okay, so we stayed at the Holy Land Hotel. We left the Holy Land Hotel. We were walking towards the bus stop. It might be bus number 7 or 37 or something that takes you to Ramallah. And while we were walking there, I was telling them we were walking through a neighborhood, and I believe it's probably a neighborhood that Arabs are not supposed to go to. And that's when
How would they know you're Arab?
Because my wife's got a hijab.
Okay, but there are 20% of Israelis. Jerusalem's filled with Muslims.
See, but you're trying to discredit my story.
No, I'm not.
I'm telling you, my
Jews are a majority in
Real quick. Let's get 60 seconds on Nico. Nico, 60 seconds. Go.
No, it's a story. It's it's my experience. It's my family's experience. I'm not a young kid. I'm 43 years old. My daughter's 14. My son's he just today's his birthday. He just turned 11. So this is a real life experience, and I'm just it's because what Sammy said. But Sammy, kind of when I heard him, I'm like or not Sammy. I'm sorry, whoever it was, Ahmad. But I went through the same thing. You know what I mean? Twice. Once, like I said, once at the Columbia Crossing, and once in Jerusalem. You might say it doesn't happen, but it does happen.
No, I didn't say that, and I wouldn't discount it.
Are you done speaking, Nico?
Yeah, I'm done, bro.
Yehuda, let's do it. 60 seconds.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I'd like to message you offline just because I'm curious because I track a lot
but
of this stuff.
But real quick, guys. Yeah. I want you guys to correlate this to, the Palestinian quote unquote struggle and the quote unquote Jewish occupation, right? Correlate this experience to something that we can actually debate, right? As opposed to just talking about the experience.
Sure. Fair enough.
I can say something real.
Wait, what's it? Let me get 60 seconds on Yehuda. Yehuda, let's go.
Yeah, so I'm not here to trash people's personal experiences when they sound reasonable. I'm just saying that the security perspective from the Israeli side is they're very, very particular about security. They don't care whether you're Arab or Jewish. I was going to tell you, I had a gun drawn on me by an Israeli police officer because he didn't like that I wanted to go somewhere and I had every right to, and I had a Canadian passport. So it's just funny. But I didn't chalk up because it was Jewish, and he happened to be an Arab Israeli Muslim, and I didn't care. But I'm just saying, I'm kind of curious. At the end of the day, it's really simple. If there's no threat of terror, if there's no threat of violence, then they don't act like that. That's just my personal experience. I don't know about yours. I'd love to talk to you offline, Nico. Thanks.
Absolutely. George.
Yeah, so there are a number of terrorist groups that operate in Area A. Area A is supposed to be governed by the Palestinian Authority. As part of Oslo, it is their job to make sure that terrorist groups don't operate freely and don't grow and don't launch terrorist attacks. They failed completely to do that. And as a result, I'm talking just to the macro situation. I'm not talking to what happened to you, Nico, at all. But the macro situation is that Israel has to patrol and outside of Area A, and sometimes, like they had to go into Jenin, they go in and they have to take out terrorist munitions facilities, and they have to arrest terrorists because the Palestinian Authority has failed to do its job. It had one job, which is to monitor and prevent terrorism among the Palestinian people, and it fucking fails at it constantly.
Absolutely.
Nelson, can I have time?
Can you respond to that though? Let's stay on that real quick.
Of course, Nelson. What you have done is that you are not questioning their presence over there. They are committing crime against
Let's go. You
humanity
have
by
2 minutes.
occupying these.
You have 2 minutes starting now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
You got freaking
Yeah.
2 minutes
And
minus 5 seconds.
They're not in Area A, just so you know. They're not in Area A
I'm
normally.
saying that, Nelson, you have normalized the occupation. You are starting your conversation from them like it's quite normal for them to be there. They do not belong there. It's not their land. They are committing crime against humanity by being there, and you are normalizing the occupation. This is what is missing.
Can I respond to
Nelson,
this?
1 second, mute out,
this
bro.
is
Don't take his
missing.
time.
This is missing. Even though I love Yehuda as a person to person level, because he's a wonderful human, but he doesn't belong there. He is not telling you that he is illegally there. He's committing crime against humanity, and that is wrong. Nelson, we will never accept, we will never normalize this occupation, and we will call out the evil. This is evil. We will not even have this discussion anymore. This is bullshit.
Giacomo, 2 minutes.
What you
2 minutes.
what you have said is complete bullshit. Israel was not occupying the West Bank until June 7, 1967. Okay, when it was attacked by Jordan, Syria, and Egypt. And prior to that, the other half of Jerusalem, most of it were Jewish quarters. When Israel stopped because of the ceasefire, the Jordanians razed it to the ground, make it national dumping grounds. Okay, let me tell you an experience that I lived in that same checkpoint that you were mentioning, Calandia, and also you mentioned the Allenby Bridge. Okay, Calandia, March, the month of March, it was pretty warm. People were moving pretty slowly. Suddenly, we see a man with a that was moving with difficulty, heavy coat, winter coat. It was already spring. It was pretty warm. Immediately, suspicions aroused. And, he was said, don't move, stay where you are. And then, people were evacuated. And then they sent, they were preparing a robot to send to search him. Suddenly we hear, Allahu Akbar! And nothing happens. Again, Allahu Akbar! Nothing happens. And then the soldiers told him, okay, if you move, we shoot. Stay where you are. And then they sent one of these robots, and the robot searched him. And, once he was, we deemed that his explosive belt would not explode. He was brought over, he was searched, the explosive belt was dismantled, and upon questioning, before that, once he was being undressed, suddenly soldiers noticed that he was really stinking from his private parts. There was a very strong stench of perfume. And, he was asked, what is this? He said, well, I was expecting to go to paradise where 72 virgins were waiting for me, and I wanted to be fully perfumed for the occasion. And that's why you have checkpoints, my friends. Okay? And it happened hundreds of times. All right? Most of the time unsuccessfully, but sometimes successfully. And this is not occupation. This is not occupation. This is because of war. They lost the war.
1 second. Time's up. Time's up. Time's up.
Time's up. Okay, I'm stopped talking.
Appreciate you, my brother. All right. Psychiatrist, you want to go? No, Sadeh. You want to go ahead and respond to him?
Yes.
Let's go.
Nelson, thank you.
2 minutes.
Yes. To answer that title and connected to this topic, the terrorists here are the illegal settlers in the West Bank. There are over 700,000 settlers. They live in 150 settlements, and 128 outposts. Settlements are authorized by the Israeli government. outposts are built without government authorization. In addition, Israel has built a wall, Nelson. I don't know if you know about this, that stretches more than 700 kilometers. The wall
The wall
cuts
saved hundreds of lives from
yeah, it's
suicide
my
bombing.
time, Giacomo. The wall cuts through Palestinian communities. It slices through their agricultural fields, and also beside the wall, there are over 140 checkpoints. So, in order for a Palestinian in the West Bank to go from one village in the West Bank to another Palestinian village in the West Bank, they may have to cross many checkpoints, and sometimes it's up to the soldier guarding that checkpost. If it's their day, they can let them pass. If they don't want to, they can just restrict their movement. So the West Bank is a very serious problem, and that's where I see the terrorism happening from the Israeli side as well, in addition to Gaza.
Okay.
Yo,
Jonathan, what's up, man? What's going on?
nah, man, I'm just saying, listen to this bullshit, man. She's talking about terrorism from the Israeli side, and there has been some incidents. I'm not gonna say it hasn't, but you know, they have to protect themselves from those fucking animals, man. When they're over there blowing
Hey,
up shit for
chill,
no
man.
fucking
You know,
reason, now,
animals,
no,
chill.
no, 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 no. Listen to me. If you're defending the acts of terrorists,
They're animals.
okay, no, 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 exactly, they are fucking
You
animals,
big,
okay.
you big.
No, no, I'm not saying that Palestinians, and if you, I said they're terrorists, and they are
You
fucking
cannot say
animals.
animals.
Okay,
Nelson,
they're fucking
why are
cretins.
you
They're
allowing him
fucking
to speak?
cretins.
Guys,
They,
real quick. 1 second. Psychiatrist, just mute out. I've got 2 minutes on Jonathan. Let him get it out. Let's go.
yeah, they're fucking cretins. All right, they're scum of the earth. They're no fucking good, and they are fucking animals. All right, because they're terrorists. I didn't say anything about the Palestinian people. I spoke about terrorists, and that's the problem. You guys are saying it's not all Palestinian people, but when we talk about terrorists, you guys want to defend them the same way you want to defend the Palestinians. Now make up your goddamn mind. Okay, are you defending Palestinian peoples and their rights to exist? Or are you defending the fucking terrorists? It sounds like you're doing the terrorists. So with that being said, you know, Israel has the right to have checkpoints. Because if you guys are known to blow up my shit, and you guys are coming in, you're like, Allah Akbar, your ass need to be picked the fuck off. Shot in the fucking head, put the fuck down, okay, and restricted. That's the truth. Now, when that shit stops happening, all the other shooting down and all other shit, protecting your land would end. How the fuck do you guys expect these people to live if every time you turn around, someone's trying to fucking blow up your house, rape your fucking kids, and do all that other bullshit? So I'm just getting off a plane. I'm walking. So I just landed. I'm gonna be hot all fucking
That
night.
fucking
Let's go.
flight must have sucked. You must have had
Damn.
babies next to your ass,
Yeah.
Jonathan. 'Cause you came in here hot. You had little
No,
babies
no, because
crying.
no,
You
because
had
because
little
they're
babies
talking
trying
about.
to so
Yeah, well, why you all worked up,
diapers
man?
being changed next to him and everything. Damn, Jonathan.
Nah, because they talking. They keep talking about. Oh, don't call them animals. Don't wait. Are you defending Palestinians? Or are you for defending
Hey,
terrorists?
hey,
Because I
Jonathan,
was
let me
speaking on
ask you:
terrorists.
what do you think of armed settlers that go into the West Bank
They're
and,
they're, 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 they're beasts. They're animals. They're fucking monsters. I
are
feel the same
are
way.
they terrorists?
Yeah, yeah. I think they are.
Well, it's
Okay.
either they
I
are or
think.
they're not. I mean,
West Bank is
Well,
UK
one second. Hold on, one second,
area.
guys. See, I don't have like right now. I defend Israel because what happened on October 7th happened. What those armed crazy cuckoo settlers over there are doing, I can't get with that. I can't defend that. Okay, and if they commit wrong atrocities against the people in the West Bank, then they need to be dealt with as well. You know what I'm saying? I call a spade a spade. I call a spade a
Can I
spade.
jump in?
Let's do it. Yehuda,
All right.
2 minutes.
Let's it's really sad people are defending terrorists. Look, uh gosh. If you want to look up for people, I like Hussam Abdo, Hussam Abdo, who's a 16-year-old Palestinian boy who was mentally challenged. So not Down syndrome, but he had mental health issues. And just to give you an idea of what happens on a daily basis, this isn't just a one-off. This is a mentally handicapped 16-year-old who was offered 100 shekels, so $30, and promised to have sex with virgins if he took 20 pounds of explosives on a suicide belt and walked up to an Israeli checkpoint. Now, this was captured on television, and the poor kid, he tried to detonate it. It didn't work. The Israelis saw the bomb. They could have shot him. They didn't. They sent a robot, stripped him. They hugged him. He was crying. And you want to know who sent him? Ironically, it wasn't Hamas. It was the Fatah movement. That's the PLO's movement. They actually took credit for it. And those are the guys that the Israelis are dealing in peace with. And the Israelis still deal with peace with them despite that. So when people look at Israel and say they're being too harsh, there are hundreds of terror attacks foiled every day. You just don't hear about it because the Israelis are so good at stopping them. That's why 7th of October was such a shock, because they're usually on point. So if you don't believe me, Hussam Abdo, I don't know why he did hands down psychiatrist. He's literally a child that was sent by murderous terrorists to blow himself up, and he was mentally handicapped. Hussam Abdo. And thank God he's alive to this day, because smart Israeli soldiers didn't light him up. So honestly, shame on you for those who try to provide support to terrorists. Thanks.
Okay, let me go to psychiatrist. Psychiatrist, you got 2 minutes starting now.
Okay, talking about mental health, I think Zionism is a mental health issue, and that's in my bio. I can cure you if you want. Take appointment with me. Regarding naming Palestinians animals, Jonathan, it's your opinion. Nobody cares about your opinion. Back to the issue of West Bank. These checkpoints, they weren't exposed to because there are segregation of the roads in West Bank. There are roads for Palestinians and roads for settlers and Israelis. So what is this? Apartheid is worse than apartheid. Operation
That happens in
checkpoint.
Saudi Arabia too.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is. There's
Please do
signs
not,
that
please do not respond to him. You've got
How
60
how do
seconds
you
left, bro.
how do you say that it happens in Saudi Arabia too? I don't know. Have you been to Saudi Arabia?
a lot of people have, and they've taken pictures of the road signs.
Not true. There is one road that is meant for non-Muslims not entering Mecca, and this is
He's right about
an
that.
Islamic road. This is different.
Sounds like
Bro, get
apartheid.
to the point, man. I mean, you want to talk.
I
I'm
get the
giving you the
point.
mic to talk.
Apartheid, road segregation, oppression. West Bank is occupied, and you are normalizing this. How come? If
Can I ask him a
Israel
question?
pull out West Bank and Gaza, none of these issues would have happened.
Okay.
Can I ask him a question? Quick
Before
follow up. Quick.
before you do, real quick. If you're on,
Can I respond?
let me mute your mic, please. If you're on stage and you do not have your hand up, I'm going to assume you do not want to talk, and I'm going to bring other people up. I have 26 people trying to get on stage. Just giving you guys a heads up.
Yo,
Okay. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Yehuda.
Yeah. Just
Before
vouch.
hold on 1 second. He addressed me because I didn't call Palestinians terrorists, and that's your fucking problem, bro. And I
No,
kept and I
you call
cleared.
them
Wait,
animals,
no,
not terrorists.
wait. No, excuse me, you're right. Animals. I called the terrorists fucking animals, and I clarified it over and over again. And you dumb motherfuckers, you also hell bent on defending the Palestinians. That every time someone calls a fucking terrorist an animal or whatever, you guys call them Palestinians. So are the Palestinians terrorists? Yes or no? Let me know, because I have no problem calling all Palestinians terrorists if that's really what's fuck going on here. Okay, so are they all terrorists? Yes or no? Because I made that distinction that I was speaking about terrorists, and you just went back and called them Palestinians after I called people terrorists. Are they terrorists or are they not? Let me know. Are they all these motherfuckers over there wearing vests? All these motherfuckers over there plotting to kill Jewish people? Let me know. Because
Okay,
I was very clear in what I fucking said, okay? And you got upset, and I clarified it like 4 times, and then your dumb ass got up here and said that shit again. So they must all be terrorists then.
if you call IOF terrorists too and animals, I would believe you. I can't believe you calling one party terrorists and the others not, although they are committing terrorist attacks on Gaza, on West Bank, everywhere. Period.
Right. Okay, so here's my question for psychiatrists. You just said apartheid because there are roads that Israelis can use and roads for Palestinians. That's what you said. Tell me something. Can our friend Amir in this space, who's an Arab Israeli Muslim, can he drive on the Israeli roads?
I told you, Amir should have
I'm
come with
asking
another
questions, yes or no?
12 Palestinians that were displaced in
Don't
1948.
avoid the
Yes or
question.
Not
no?
only Amir.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Can an Israeli
I
Arab
don't
Muslim
know. You
drive
ask
on
him.
his...
I don't know.
The answer, you know the answer. Why don't you
No,
tell
I
the
don't know the
audience?
answer. Go
You know
ask
the
him.
answer.
No, go
So
ask
the,
him. I
the
don't
the
know.
answer is Israelis of any race and religion can drive on roads that are for Israelis because it's a national thing. It's not a religion thing. So it's not
Well,
apartheid. The,
Israeli is not nationality, and you know
oh,
it.
okay.
Supreme
Yeah,
Court
okay.
ruled out this is
So
not
so
allowed.
so you're changing your story now. Psychiatrist,
Not
anyone can
changing my
check.
story. I'm debunking
Answer the
that you are
question. Answer the
still
question.
naming
Israeli
it as
Arabs can
Israel.
drive on
No,
Israeli roads. Yes?
no, I don't know. I told you, I don't know.
You
You go
don't.
ask
You're
him.
lying. Psychiatrist, you're
No, I
lying. Let me
don't
ask.
lie.
Can Israeli Arabs be Supreme Court judges in Israel?
Maybe yes. Why not?
Yeah. What do you mean? Why not? It's yes or no. Can Israeli Arabs be on the Supreme Court? There are
Well,
Israeli Arabs
Arabs,
on the
not
Supreme Court.
Israeli Arabs. Arabs in what's so called Israel. Yes, they can.
Are Do you know that there's Arab Israelis on the court in Israel, the Supreme
Yes,
Court of the
I know.
country?
My
How
my
many?
relative
How
worked there.
good?
My relative.
Wonderful. Amen. Amen. How many black South Africans were on the South African Supreme Court? I'll wait. How many
Oh,
blacks were? Yeah.
oh,
How many blacks?
oh,
Just curious.
oh.
Help me out, brother.
Damn.
All right. So
It's
tell me how
Palestine, not
Israel's an
South Africa.
apartheid state when an
It's worse
Arab,
than apartheid. I told you
an,
it's worse than
it's worse than
apartheid.
apartheid. It's so
Yeah,
bad that they
worse
have
than
Arabs on the
apartheid. Yeah,
Supreme Court.
yeah,
Just for the
worse than
audience, just for the audience, an Arab Israeli
get
Supreme
over
Court
with.
justice, an Arab Israeli Supreme Court justice sent a Jewish former president of Israel to jail. All right, so you keep talking about apartheid. I mean, that's some pretty bad apartheid. They're not doing a good job of it because they're sending presidents to jail. You're a clown. It's rude what you're saying because you're lying to the audience. You know the answer. You know that Arab Israelis can drive on Israeli roads. You want to lie to the crowd because you want them to believe that Israel's not apartheid. Of Palestine more than you, and that's a shame.
Damn.
Thanks.
Okay, let me go to Sadeh. Ooh-wee. Jonathan, what happened, man? You stir this thing up. Sadeh, two
Yes,
minutes. Let's talk about it.
yes, Palestinians are not able, the Palestinians living in Gaza or West Bank are not even allowed to go to Jerusalem to pray at Al Aqsa Mosque, or if they're Christian, at the Christian sites. That's a form of apartheid as well. Israel decides who
Jordan that controls it.
can.
I need
Why
one
are
mic
you?
on her. Do not interrupt her time.
Okay, so this is another violation I cited from what I cited earlier as well. The other point as well is the settlers in the West Bank, they go and uproot olive trees from Palestinian farms as well. And this is, I don't know why, I think this is, they're focusing on the olive trees. I don't know why, but I've seen plenty of videos where there are Israeli soldiers that do not even stop them. These settlers are armed. Sometimes there are dogs accompanying them, and they terrorize the innocent, Palestinian farmers, villagers who are on their own land. People forget that the West Bank is supposed to be fully Palestinian owned, but Israel occupies 80% of it, and they excuse imposing these soldiers and these radical settlers who are terrorists under the guise that they need to guarantee the security of the Israeli state. So there's plenty of terrorism that's happening daily in the West Bank. What's happening in Gaza is a whole other issue. It's a genocide. But what's happening in the West Bank is 24/7 daily terrorism, Palestinians being killed, assassinated, harassed by radical settlers who are armed. And they just recently also gave them more weapons. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Hey Nelson, I
Appreciate you.
gotta take this bullshit, man. I
Let's
gotta
go.
debunk
You got
this
two
real quick.
minutes.
All right,
Let's talk about it.
all right, all right. Listen, man, I'm reading Al Jazeera. God help me. Al Jazeera, the propaganda arm of the Qatari government. I am going to read this to you, okay? This is about the journey of a Palestinian from the West Bank who wanted to go to Al-Aqsa. So first of all, if you are over 50 or under 12, I'm reading this from Al Jazeera. You can get in on Fridays on Ramadan without anything, with nothing required. If you are a quote unquote man of fighting age is sort of the concept, right? So if you are 18, 16, 20, 22, you can get a Israeli army permit and they check you out. If you're a woman of all ages, you're allowed in on the same days, okay? So it is not, it is absolutely false that Palestinians cannot come to Al-Aqsa, but because they are not citizens of Israel, because there are hundreds of terrorist attacks where little girls' Hello Kitty backpacks are filled with explosives or guns sometimes, right? They smuggle guns and weapons using children sometimes. They have to check you out, they have to get you a permit, and they do their best. And just so you know, up to 50,000 people per day worship at Al Aqsa on Ramadan. But you know what PIJ and Hamas do? They have 10, 15, 20 provocateurs in there, bring firecrackers and bring stones. And every year or two, they start throwing stones or shooting firecrackers down at the Jewish worshipers. And guess who calls the IDF? Guess who calls the police so they can worship peacefully? The Muslims. The Muslim worshipers call the police so that they can have freedom of worship. 5 to 50,000 people on Ramadan ask the IDF for help. And then the IDF comes in and they clear out the terrorists. And then the video on Al Jazeera always shows just the last seconds of the IDF getting rid of the 20 terrorists. I am done.
My brother, Sadeh, you want to respond to that?
Yes.
60 seconds. Let's go.
Yes, in fact, just before the October 7 attacks, the Israelis have been storming Al-Aqsa Mosque. They've been inciting the Palestinians. They've been threatening the sanctity of Al-Aqsa Masjid. And this has provoked Palestinians, not only Palestinians, but Muslims all over the world and other people like myself who respect, religious sites such as Al-Aqsa. And even the United Nations issued a statement condemning the incitements and the provocations of Israelis around the Al-Aqsa Masjid. They are even planning another storming of Al-Aqsa in the next few days. And I hope Israelis like George are going to speak about it and stop this madness. Thank you.
Boom. There we
Can
go.
I
Let's go to
second?
who is that lady? Mossad.
Side.
Mossad,
Can
60 seconds. Go.
I, so first of all, the West Bank is not the indigenous name of that land. Can anybody tell me what it is? No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. It's called Judea and Samaria, where Jews and Samaritans come from. So when you're calling it your land, I find that highly hilarious. By the way, what's it west of? Oh, Jordan, which was recently created, which shows you how recent the name West Bank is. It Judea and Samaria were the names of that land for millennia. Okay, just gonna throw that out there. Um, my other point. Oh fuck, I forgot my other point.
Storming. You were going to talk about
Storming,
storming.
thank you, thank you. I can't
20
tell you
seconds.
how many times, I can't tell you how many videos there are with the caption saying, these settlers, these Zios are storming Al-Aqsa. And it's like literally like older people like strolling with their family, like little kids, like, and they're walking slowly. And I can provide many, many examples of this.
Boom.
I got
Appreciate
to
you.
jump in after this,
Yehuda, let's.
Nelson, please.
No. I got to go to a pro Palestinian. Mustafa, 60 seconds. Respond.
What's up, guys? I mean, I have a problem with like the dehumanization of Palestinians. Like coming from the Israeli side, it's like I understand when y'all call them terrorist animals. Yes, they're animals. People who kill people, people who blow people up are animals. Yes, even in Islam, I'm Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Even in Islam, like it's prohibited to kill people. You feel me? But it's like when you're generally making general statements, calling people animals and stuff. That doesn't sit right with me. You feel me?
Who did that though?
I mean, Jonathan was just saying, calling people animals. After he fixed himself
He said,
after.
no, he said it the first time that he was talking
Guys, stop
about
taking
terror.
time from somebody else, please.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all love. It's all love. But regardless, it's like for anything to work out, it's gonna like the tone has to come down a little bit. It's like this very like hostile environment is not beneficial for anybody. You feel me? It's just like I take a deep breath, like view these people as humans. You feel me? That's the only way any solution can come across.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Man, you got
Appreciate you.
you got marbles in your mouth or something, my brother. You chewing something right now? It was a little bit hard to hear you, man.
Yeah, but listen, I want to jump in on that, man.
60 seconds. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man, I'm taking, man. I'm shy. So yeah, hi. I'm not on
Hey
time.
man,
So here's
hey
the deal.
man, it's a
No,
balanced space, dog.
nah,
60
I
seconds.
understand that. Nah, bro. Here's the deal. All right. Then once again, I don't know what's going on with you Palestinians, okay? Because right now, what I'm understanding is you're the second asshole that came up here and said that I said something I didn't say. I was very clear when I started speaking. I spoke about the terrorists. When you guys jumped in after I spoke about the terrorists, I made sure you guys understood I was speaking about the terrorists, and I spoke to how you guys are defending the terrorists and essentially calling them Palestinians because I actually said the terrorists. So once again, if that is the narrative that you guys are going to take out there, I'm all for it. But I do have this video because I want to. We do have the recording because I want to use this recording later on to show people how no matter what you say, that the Palestinians try to twist your fucking words around. Because I couldn't have been no more clear when I said I was speaking about terrorists, and it's a shame that you guys defend fucking terrorists by calling them Palestinians. So your dumbass and the other dumbass came up here as soon as I said that and repeated the same goddamn thing because that's what you wanted to hear. Now, so today, I want to ask you, did you or did you hear me speak about terrorists or Palestinians? I need to know from you because I need to know how prevalent this shit is.
Today,
Take a shot every time he says terrorists.
today, 60 seconds. Talk about it.
No, you didn't make that distinction at the beginning, but it was a bit confusing to be honest, Jonathan. So you immediately accuse the other side of as being terrorists, so they could have understood it that way. You have to make that distinction. And to be honest, I do not consider Palestinians to be terrorists. They are freedom fighters. They're resisting the oppression and apartheid policies imposed on them. So I do not consider Palestinians to be terrorists at all.
Okay,
All right,
now
I'm
I'm glad
next.
you said that because you just called them freedom fighters. See, we're talking about the people that carried out those acts. They were Hamas. So you're essentially saying that all Palestinians, once again, you tie Palestinians to being terrorists because I've been speaking about terrorists and you started speaking about Palestinians and you refer to them as freedom fighters. It's just what some people call terrorists. Okay, so once again, there you guys go. You guys are always talking about how Palestinians are being made to look like terrorists,
I
and with
just
that,
jumped in real quick, man.
not all Palestinians are terrorists. But every time you guys speak, and I did make that distinction in the very beginning. I said when you guys are up here dealing with these fucking terrorists are fucking animals. I know what I said. Okay, it's on tape. Once again, I just wanted to know how prevalent it was. Obviously, it's very prevalent, but they are fucking animals. They're pieces of shit. Okay, they deserve to be fucking annihilated. All right. Now, and I'm speaking about
Crazy.
terrorists. Now, it's up to you guys to decide whether or not all Palestinians are terrorists. It seems like you guys are pro-Palestinian people are saying all Palestinians are terrorists. That's what it seems like to me. So, you know what? If that's what it is, then that's what it is. I yield.
For
I got to
sure, for
jump
sure,
in
for
from my
sure.
original line.
Nah, I gotta balance it out, man. I gotta get the other side in here.
Can I jump in
Yusuf,
real quick? All right, perfect.
Yusuf,
I've been
two
waiting
minutes.
here.
Hey guys, I need one mic. Appreciate you. Thank you. Come on, man. I've been moderating the hell out of this discussion. Yusuf, 60 seconds. No,
All right.
2 minutes. You just got on stage.
Thank you, bro.
Go ahead.
I want to explain something to Jonathan, maybe because he doesn't understand it. Palestinians have a cause to fight for, and that's why if an army gets created within Palestine, it's not necessarily a terrorist group. Now, does that negate the fact that there could be some mentally ill people within that group that commit terrorist acts? No,
Oh man,
obviously
please,
not.
please don't use the mentally ill thing
Look,
as your
anybody who
defense.
commits terrorist acts is.
Please do not use the mentally ill defense.
I know, but I'm just saying there's a premise
Give him
behind
2 minutes.
someone who commits a terrorist act. Like only someone who has a deficient brain or a destroyed brain can commit these horrendous acts, right? It's not based on religion. It's not based on family values. It's based on trauma. It's based like most child
Oh
predators were molested
man,
when they were
stop
kids.
it,
Trauma?
man.
Oh
Oh
man.
man,
Most
it's
child
I
because of
molesters
what
were
happened
molested as
to me
kids.
when I was with your Betty.
No, I'm saying that's the majority of the reason, right? Some minority cases or some anomalies could be for different reasons, but that's the majority of the reasons where people commit these horrible acts. There's definitely trauma linked to it. There's some deficiency in the brain linked to it. They're they're lacking something that a normal person has.
So, so,
All right, can I reply?
so.
You think the
I was raised by
1,400
a single mom.
slaughtering
My
caused
daddy,
trauma?
my daddy didn't give me the attention I needed. I should go kill people. So
No, there's different levels of trauma. If that's the
Don't
level of
do
trauma
that.
that leads you to commit a crime that bad, then that's what jail time is for, and that's what the maximum penalty is for. Because like you need to fix yourself, and nobody can help you fix that, right? So that's kind of like because I talk to a lot of people who are incarcerated. I talk to a lot of people who, went through a
20
lot of
seconds.
crimes, and I tell them that you can be forgiven. You just have to move with an intention of never wanting to sin again. So these people who commit crimes are not a lost cause, right?
For sure, for
Thank
sure.
you.
All right.
Yehuda, let's go. 60
Okay.
seconds.
Sorry. I'll give me a little more because so many people took my time. Listen, starting with today. Today's actually one of the most insidious anti-Jewish racists actually on the space.
God damn.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't even realize it. It just oozes out of her mouth. She actually used the term the Jews or the settlers. She means Jews defile the mosque by visiting it. So no one says a Muslim defiles the synagogue by visiting, but she actually said the Jews defile the Al-Aqsa Mosque. First of all, Al-Aqsa Mosque is a mosque built on top of the holiest Jewish place in history called the Temple. She doesn't really believe it exists. She's very conspiratorial, blah, 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 blah. But we have to be very careful. She's actually not pro-Palestine. She actually hurts the Palestinian cause because with this racism and this hatred, all she does is make Jews who are scared and nervous of people like her, they make them more radical. So she's actually part of the problem. She's actually a terrorist enabler. So she gets it all wrong. The facts are wrong. It doesn't matter to her though. She keeps repeating it ad nauseum every day. She makes up lies about Israel. But at the end of the day, it's people like me and normal moderate Palestinians who have to make peace with each other. As far as the other individual said, I'm sorry now, so many things just went by. I think what Jonathan was trying to say is that he's saying he thinks terrorists are bad and that they're not good. I wouldn't use that word myself, but when you conflate terrorist with Palestinians, that's why he's calling you out. He's calling you out because you're the one who's saying, "Oh, so all Palestinians are terrorists." He never said that. He said the terrorists are terrorists. You're the one conflating it. Also, the reason why the other individual is the most insidious racist here is because she continuously defends Hamas. She doesn't believe Hamas is a terrorist organization. She actually defended. I'm sorry, I have to say this. She apologized for rape. She said a woman who was bleeding in the pants from the back to the front, that was actually she pooed herself from the brave Hamas warriors. So she basically is a person who says, not me too. She says, me too, unless you're a Jew. She supports the rape of Jewish women because they're Jews, because her hatred of Jews is so great. She doesn't care about facts. And I think we should call it out. If you don't believe me, check out her timeline. It's a dumpster fire. I yield. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, man, if you're in the audience, today I came out with a different sort of strategy for moderating this conversation. As some of you guys have seen, I definitely want to know what your thoughts are, right? So if you're enjoying this space, if you've enjoyed this space so far, scroll all the way to the top, hit that tweet that I just pinned up there, and drop some fire emojis, drop some rocket emojis, drop some goddamn bomb emojis, right? Spam the hell out of that tweet right now. Spam the hell out of that tweet right now if you've enjoyed this space so far. And of course, I got Jonathan Bing in here right now like a firecracker, turning this shit all the way up, man. So that being said, let me go to my man. Let me see. I was just about to call you a dumbass, so I'm going to go to somebody else so you don't know who I was talking about. Let me go to Omar real quick. Omar, jump in. What's the word? 60 seconds.
Yeah, so without continuing the Jonathan discussion, I think it's all clear. It's semantics and whatever. I just hope Jonathan didn't have a bad flight or anything, but hope he's satisfied with that answer. Going on with what I wanted to mention, and by the way, Tasude was talking about the raids on the Al-Aqsa Mosque. I don't think she meant Jews actually going there is desecrating the place. I think that's a misrepresentation of what she said. What I want to talk about, though, is the reality is from a bird's eye view, between the river and the sea, there only exists one state. It's called Israel. And within that state, there's people that enjoy all the rights. There's people that enjoy some of the rights. And then there's people with absolutely no rights. And a lot of those people are in North Gaza right now. They can't even, have the right to be in their own homes. So it's very important to distinguish when we talk about one state, two state, three state, four state, whatever you want to call it. The reality is there's two groups of people both human beings that deserve the right to live in their respected homes, that don't enjoy the same amount of rights. And that's essentially what people are calling for, that want to see Palestinians liberated. It's not about pushing anyone out, it's not about removing anyone from their homes, which is exactly what has happened to Palestinians for the last 75 years. And I think it's really important to highlight that, because we can keep going on about uh, what the benefits of a two-state solution are, what the benefits are of a one state, but at the end of the day, if they don't get their own state in 5 to 10 years, there's only going to still be one state with a system that is not going to be for all the people living within the land.
You know what? That takes me to the next debate point that I think we should definitely talk about. Right? What happens after this war? Okay. Do we get a one state solution? Do we get a two-state solution? Is there no solution? Is there? Are we gonna have a fuck you Palestinians, stay in Gaza? You're not getting your state. We're still gonna run your shit. Matter of fact, we're gonna occupy that goddamn place. What exactly are we gonna get after this war? Now, for some of you guys, of course, those here who are pro-Palestinian, I want you to give me your preferred solution, and then let me know what you think the Palestinians will actually get out of this realistically, right? Let's have a conversation about that real quick. George, 60 seconds. Talk about it.
All right. Any possibility of a two-state solution, and I've been a two-state solution guy for a very long time, died with October 7th for a very long time. There is no way in hell Israel is going to continue to provide Gazans, Palestinians, with their own proto-state so they can build a terrorist infrastructure on top of Israel. The best thing they can hope for the next 10, 15, 20, maybe 50 years, honestly, is an alliance with Jordan and Egypt. Egypt takes responsibility for Gaza. Jordan takes responsibility for Judea, Samaria / the West Bank, and that's it. Gaza is not part of Israel, Omar. Get this through your head. They aren't owed any rights by anybody
I
except
never
by
stated that they
Hamas.
were.
Hamas is their government. They are not owed voting rights in Israel, which they want to destroy. They are owed voting rights in elections in fucking Gaza by their own government.
Never made that claim.
Appreciate you, my brother. Okay. Let me go to Sammy. Sammy, 60 seconds. Go ahead.
I believe in a one state solution, and George kind of just summarized the whole argument against Zionism. Zionists believe in the right of Israel as a state to exist, but they believe Palestinians as people do not deserve rights. So, what's going to happen is, after this war, Israel is not going to have control of Gaza. It's probably going to go back to the way it was before October 7th, and that's going to be because well, in the end, Israel's not going to take that territory. The neighboring Arab countries won't allow it. So, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to go back. It's going to continue on. This is a 75-year war. No one's expecting it to end next year, but I could definitely see a ceasefire and a hostage exchange happening. So, yeah.
Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Let me see. Damn, we have a lot more pro-Palestinians on the stage. Mossad, talk about it. 60 seconds.
I just want to say that every time there's a ceasefire, every single time, who breaks that ceasefire? There was a ceasefire on October 7th, believe it or not. Guess who broke that ceasefire? There was one just recently when we were hoping to get more hostages back. Guess who broke that ceasefire? Every single time, it's the Palestinian side that breaks the ceasefire. They've been offered their own state at least 8 times, and they've rejected it because they don't believe in nation states, period. They don't want their own state. They just want to drag this on as long as possible. And I land.
Appreciate you. Okay.
Um,
Saday, 60 seconds. Talk
The
about it.
solution, the solution has always been simple. They could give one state for all, one man, one vote. Everyone has equal rights, and they can all coexist and accept
Every Israeli citizen
Why are you
is above me.
interrupting my thought process? Like, I don't understand. Are you dumb?
40
Give me
seconds.
my chance later on, Nelson, because she just interrupted
You
my
got 10
thought.
extra
See,
seconds. Let's go.
okay, so the solution was very simple. They could all live in one state, giving Palestinians, Muslim Palestinians, Christian Palestinians, and all of them living together under a one man, one vote system. But the Zionists, they do not want that because they know by numbers the Palestinians outnumber them. So meaning, if there were an election to take place, they could end up with a Palestinian prime minister. They do not want that because uh, at the foundation, Zionism is a racist ideology.
Is
They
14
do not see
Russian
themselves being
massacre?
led by a Muslim Palestinian or someone that's non Jewish. So the problem is with the ideology itself, Zionism. If they get rid of that, they can live in peace in the Holy Land, but they refuse that. So they just waste our time. Instead, they're building more settlements. They're kicking out Palestinians. And George said it. They have solutions. They want them to go to Egypt or Jordan. That's ridiculous.
I didn't say I want them to go anywhere. I said in an alliance. Please don't misrepresent what I said.
All right, all right, all right. Real quick though, real quick.
I gotta shut it down.
Moshad.
I gotta shut it.
Yeah, just real quick. Moshad, you gotta stop that interrupting stuff. Respectfully.
Sorry about
You gotta stop it. Okay, appreciate you. Yehuda, let's talk about it. 60 seconds.
Yeah. So as again, like a clock. The minute she opens her mouth, she's lying. The previous speaker, I don't know if she gets tired of lying. It's just so weird. Palestinians, Arab Israelis live in Israel, 2 million of them, and they're afforded all the equal rights. They're on the Supreme Court. They're the heads of hospitals. They're the heads of huge organizations. They're the head of the National Bank. When she says this to people, what she's doing is she's trying to lie to everyone to make it seem like Israelis treat Arabs differently or Israeli Jews treat Israeli Arabs differently. And that's the problem. It takes away her narrative. It destroys her argument. Again, go Google Israeli Arab Supreme Court judge. Google everything. The person lies with facility. The only thing she gets right is her first name. It's the only lie she hasn't made yet. And now I'm starting to wonder if that's even her name, Nelson. Thanks.
God damn. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, man, listen, I appreciate you guys dropping those fire emojis. It's crazy. I just retweeted every single one of them. It took me like 5 minutes, but I really appreciate you guys dropping it. I like the fact that you guys like the new format. And, that being said, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, man. We'll be back tomorrow. I definitely want to call it an early night tonight. And want to encourage you guys, if you guys are not following us, I want to encourage you to do so right now. I want to encourage you to turn the notifications on my tweets to always so you do not miss these daily shows. Once again, welcome to the hottest show on X.
Yo.
And that's worth the grok, by the way.
Yo, bro, that is definitely true. Hey, first and foremost, you guys that came through in the clutch because I don't think there's no other show that's on X that's growing as fast as this show, man. So shout out to you. That's because of you guys in the audience. Shout out to you guys, man. Much respect. Let your friends know that we're here every night, man, and we're gonna continue to be here. But shout out to you guys because you guys have made this the fastest growing and hottest show on X right now.
Man, I got to shout out to my man Yehuda. Man, Yehuda, that's my guy. That's my guy. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow my boy Yehuda right now, man. Definitely give him a follow for sure.
Don't follow him. That's not his real name.
And follow my girls today as well. Like, listen, man, at the end of the
Nelson,
day,
tomorrow, Nelson.
guys, let me talk, man. I mean, you got to chill, bro. Papa Xanax, man. Calm down. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, make sure you follow my man Yehuda. Definitely follow my girls today. Listen, man, at the end of the day, regardless of whatever sides we're on, my intention is we all leave here as friends every single day, right? At the end of the day, we're all building this, this online social audio community. This is something that I started with Jonathan 3 years ago on Clubhouse. We've extended it to X, I'm going to throw this out there. I might have a brand new platform coming out in a month and a half, wink, wink. We definitely will extend it there as well. But that being said, like that's the motive, man. Because guess what? At some point in time, this topic is going to be gone. The situation is hopefully going to be resolved. And we're going to be on to something else, right? Whether it's the 2024 elections coming up in the US, whatever the case may be, we're on to a different topic, right? And guess what? I just might not be on Yehuda's side at that point, right? I mean, he might be a goddamn Democrat for all I know. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, just definitely want to encourage you guys to follow the speakers that you resonate with. Most importantly, follow my man Yehuda for sure. Follow my man Jonathan Bing, Barbara on the stage, George, Yusuf, Mosab. Just give everybody a follow, man. Sammy's dumbass as well. And last but not least, definitely follow myself. Turn the notifications on. So whenever I announce these spaces, you get to be the first individuals to jump in the space. For those of you that weren't able to get on stage and speak, I apologize. But again, this is the reason why you need to turn those notifications on. Because today, when I open the space, 400 people in here in the first 5 minutes, right? So turn the notifications on so you get to jump in here quick, get on the stage, and debate the goddamn war. Ladies and gentlemen,
Tomorrow
let's
we
talk
gotta
about it.
do a shot every time
Bro, go
Jonathan
to
Bing
go
says
to the goo. Go to
terrorist.
the goo. I'm tired of your dumb ass. Okay, go to the goo. Yehuda, are you opening a space right now, bro? What's the word, man? Who's opening a space?
Sure, we'll open up something.
All right, boom. So, ladies and gentlemen, go kick it over there with
Give us a
Yehuda.
follow.
And follow him into that space, and you guys can continue the conversation. I'm gone before my wife divorces my ass. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nelson Epega. We'll catch you tomorrow. Let's talk about it.